opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show. And guess what? It's my birthday.
Oh, hey, birthday.
So I just want to tell everybody. But yeah, it's no big deal. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So, oh well. But I just want to say thank you to everyone on my panel who's joining me tonight. And we have Bruce, and we have Ruben, and we have Six Nations. Yay! It's going to be fun show.
Six Nations is here.
Everybody getting to hang out and talk about a bunch of shit. But I want to start off with a few cute little adorable things that I found, because you know how I like to do that. You know, add a little smile because there's so much shit going on and we need some fun things. So the first thing I want to show, I don't know if any of you guys have seen it yet, but I just made my heart melt when I saw it. So I'm going to share it with you. I think this is it. Yeah, right here. Oh, it's adorable. So I don't know if you saw it, but before we get it started, I got to turn the music on and everything. Make sure it's turned up and make it bigger. So you guys ready?
Mm-hmm. Get it.
Go.
I'm not gonna lie, this made me a little bit
Yay.
Isn't he adorable? Oh, my heart just melts when I see him. He's so freaking cute. And what's wonderful about it is the fact that one day he could be president of the United States. You know, people don't think about things like that, but it's so nice to see people share videos like that, especially from ball games or whatever. Had any of you guys seen that one yet?
Nope.
That was new. That was the first time watching Bruce.
Oh, my heart just sank. I mean, not sank, but I mean in a good way. It was just adorableness. Oh, so cute.
That's a cool shirt.
Thank you, Hungar, for making this shirt.
Oh yeah, you got another one. Yeah, that's a good one.
I
It's
love
a really
this
good
shirt.
one. But this next one I want to share is another one that I thought was really adorable. And I thought you guys would get a kick out of it because it's a question to women. So, but it's posted by a man. It says, have a question for all of the ladies. What? How does this not hurt? So I thought it was interesting, and I'll answer it once it's over. But here you go.
By monetization.
She's lifted her up by her sword. That's the ball. And yes, it does hurt, but sometimes glory is worth the pain. That's what I wanted to tell you guys.
That's what I always say. Put it in.
Yep.
It'll feel better once it's inside.
It was definitely worth
better
it.
than the time I did that in high school and my friend's boxers completely came off. Tore out the crotch.
Well, it looked like both of them were so happy that that it worked out. But yeah, it was definitely worth it. And yeah, it's happened to me a few times. But It was all because of horseback riding, so it's getting bucked off or whatever. But I got one more cutie pie thing that all of us did when we were kids, and I thought this was really cute. We've all done this, and we probably, if you have children, I'm sure it's happened to you. It says, "Remember doing the 'I'm going to run away' thing when you were little?" Or one of your kids or your grandkids is what the post is. It's a friend of mine named Alvarez. He posted this, and it's just so cute. So I wanted to share it before we got started. But here we go.
Where are you going? You're leaving? Bye. What, Dinky?
But why are you running away? Because I told you to clean your room? Okay, I'll see you later.
Salsa, what are you doing?
You said you don't love me.
Salsa, I never said I didn't love you.
Have a good night.
Good night. Bye.
See you later.
See you later.
Be safe.
Bye.
What? What happened? What's wrong?
Oh, so sweet.
Andy, where are you going? Oh, you're leaving? Do you want to eat supper first?
Bye.
I hate this app. Oh, they're so cute. It's a shame, but we all have to grow up and put up with some of the shit that happens in our lives, you know, paying bills and being responsible and dealing with other people's shit. I mean, that's just part of growing up. And man, sometimes I think about it. It sure would be nice if we could just run away, wouldn't it?
I gotta ask, like, for the progeny of Janet, whenever there's little kids on screen, your ovaries or testes feel like they're gonna explode. Because we hear it with Janet every time we see kids. Every time we see little kids, like, oh my God, she starts cooing and like making like fun grandma noises, or like, oh my God, I'm so cute, I want to pinch your cheeks, and she starts going nuts. I wonder.
I just like give them all big kisses and hugs,
like,
and even the puppies and the kittens, and you know,
Janet,
baby animals. I have baby chicks right now.
For the record, I do not. Nothing ever happens to me when I see that any those videos.
You don't feel that way at all when you see little ones?
No.
No, I do not. I am not aroused by children in any way.
I'll tell you where I get really fucking like, oh my God, that's so cool, is when I see a little boy or a little girl at a gun range and they're doing 3-gun for the junior kids.
Mm-hmm.
That right there, that's the fucking shit. That's what I love watching. But like, if you just want to like
Little
show
Tommy
your kids,
Slayers, yes.
Well, for the record, I never did that.
I don't mean to be annoying. I can't help it. I see
I
that.
never said it's annoying, Janet. I never did I ever say it was annoying. I just want to know if your children do the same thing, because you should have like 15 grandkids if that's how you are.
Well, I hope that would be really fun. I would really love to have, you know, a whole bunch of grandkids one day and get to hold them and kiss them and cook for them. I mean, I wouldn't cook a lot because I'm not a very good cook. But I'll make cookies and I'll make like jerky and stuff for them, and I'll make crochet stuff for them.
Do you have any right now? No. What?
But I do have a few skills that I would pass on with them, and I'd be able to show them all my great stuff that I've collected and say, one day this is going to be yours. So, you know, that'd be great. Okay, well, now we got to get down to dirty. So the first thing that I thought we could look at and discuss was this. So let's see if you guys feel the same way. But here we go. I want to start this and let you listen to it. It's that one guy named Gabriel. He posts some of these things with the guy with the mask on. It's from some movie, but I can't remember what the guy's name was.
V for Vendetta.
Yeah, V for Vendetta. That's what it was. But I do like to listen to some of them, and this one was pretty good. But it says, I wish everyone would have seen that right off the bat and trust the process of art of the deal and he says, read it. So I wanted to play this and let everybody listen to it. It's only a little over 2 minutes. So here we go.
Is this incompetence or an operation? 2 days ago, after Trump's comments and the DOJ's Epstein memo, I criticized what looked like a complete betrayal of the base. But I also offered a caveat that maybe this was on purpose, that maybe Trump was playing 5D chess, that by releasing the memo and publicly shutting down pursuit of the Epstein blackmail operation, he was doing something so out of character, so counter to MAGA's core demands, that it may not be retreat, might be a move. At the time, that felt like speculation. Now it feels plausible, because this whole situation, it's not just messy, it's strategically messy. An unsigned DOJ memo, a 1-minute gap in surveillance footage, a statement from Trump that feels completely out of sync with MAGA. None of it adds up, unless this is an operation. And here's the question. Why release anything at all? There was no pressure, no legal deadline, no media storm, but they released it anyway, and immediately triggered a firestorm. Not just from critics, from everyone. The base, independents, even CNN and MSNBC. And maybe that's the point. There's an old Soviet tactic called Operation Trust, a strategy to pacify dissent by pretending the good guys are already in control. The modern version, Operation Trust 2.0. Make your enemies think you're on their side. Draw them in. Confuse the narrative. Then force them to expose themselves or lower their guard. Could that be what's unfolding? Now look, Operation Trust could also apply to the QAnon white hat theory. Hope can be used to pacify just as much as fear. But here's what they can't ignore. Trump is president, and many of the conspiracies people laughed at ended up being true. So either this is exactly what it looks like, or nothing is as it seems. Because you don't destroy the deep state by asking nicely. You dismantle it with steps, with strategy, with 5-dimensional chess. And to the left, wipe that grin off your face. You never question your own. You protect power at all costs. And that's why fewer and fewer trust you. But to MAGA, what you did this week matters. You spoke up. You asked questions. You challenged power even when it came from your own side. That's not betrayal. That's leadership. That's the foundation of a free republic. And that's exactly what they fear most. My friends, we are all anonymous.
I thought that was pretty good. And I shared the link to that in the chat for everyone. Anyone that's wants to watch it a couple times and really listen to what he has to say, because I agree with a lot of almost everything he said. Mm-hmm. Because from when the first post came out and I saw the document and I said, it doesn't have any signatures on it and there's no date. So it's fake news. And that's what I wrote on there. And I posted that with no shame, because I have the right to say that, because I didn't believe it was released on purpose, or somebody had printed it out. And, like you see these fake tweets and stuff come along on people's timelines all the time. So I just had my doubts that it was real. But then I started listening to all these people, and pretty much the same people that I heard on X griping, complaining about they're all the same, that Trump and all his cabinet are all full of shit and they're all been compromised. I was hearing all that. They're almost all the same people that were saying that DeSantis is the one that should have got the nomination, stuff like that. Right. So I was like, So I just didn't really pay that much attention to most of it and just started looking at other things that were going on that I thought were more important than this, because to me, I didn't know if it was even real. So what I'm seeing now is more and more and more people that never talked about the Epstein stuff is now talking about it, looking things up, bringing stuff up from the past and talking about it now. Even 2 more of my sisters that never, ever spoke about this kind of stuff, even though all these years I talked about child trafficking, about rape and incest in families, all those things, and things that's gotten me kicked off of YouTube for a few weeks at a time. but I've still done it. I've done it multiple times, and I've gotten in trouble for it because, to me, that's what my personality thinks is important, to share things like that, and I have. And I'm not ashamed to do that. I'm not ashamed to speak up when I don't believe something's real or if it's fake or what's going on. And anyone that stands around and says that, oh, this Trump is this or Trump is that, when they don't even know for sure, is their point of view. But it doesn't mean it's real. It doesn't mean it's right. And doesn't mean what I'm saying is right. But I want everyone to think about it. Think about it. Why is all of it unfolding the way it is? And look how many people are actually digging in now. So I want to hear what you guys thought about what he had to say, if you don't mind.
Well,
don't start all at once.
What I have been following very little, because I see the national news, and a lot of it is, information warfare, and it's hard to verify what's going on. But yeah, I've noticed that that document wasn't signed. It just sounds really strange that they say, oh yeah, we got hundreds of thousands of hours of video. We've got the documents here, and then suddenly everything poof drives up. Like, either it's a cover up and they're really, really freaking bad at it, or there's something else going on. And I hope that it is the latter than the former, because that would just be extremely retarded, leaving it up in the air like that. Like, oh, we don't have any evidence. Mm-hmm. And then you talk to like former senators and whatnot, and they try to rationalize it like, well, maybe the previous administration destroyed all the evidence, so quote unquote there is no evidence, even though we have all this circumstantial evidence now. But got the video, like they said, why can't you identify the people in the videos, blur out the kids or whatever else is going on, and then identify the people?
Mm-hmm. And well, one of the things that I posted too, is I posted a picture of Ghislaine Maxwell with Epstein, and I said, all you have to do, okay, all these people freaking out about, and there is no evidence, there's nothing, blah, blah, blah. All you have to do is unseal the court documents from her court that sent her to prison. Mm-hmm. And you got everything. You got her black book. You got all the evidence from all the witnesses that put her behind bars. So that's all we got to do is get the judge to release all the information, and we got everything we need to take anyone to court if there's stuff out there, right? Wouldn't you think so? Why'd they?
What's the name of the black book? GX59 or something?
I don't remember. It's all in the court documents, and that's what I'd like to see. If anyone who's been watching or watched that case, paid it that much attention to it, because see, I really didn't. I wanted to. I wish I had but I really didn't. But I was thinking about it. I'm like, she's sitting in prison, right? A federal prison, isn't it? A federal prison she's in.
Yep.
Okay, and the judge sealed all the documents, so only even the witnesses, the young girls that were, trafficked, because that's why she's in prison, aren't supposed to be talking about some of the stuff that happened to them. Now, there are a few girls that are talking, and, some of them aren't alive anymore. So, I really don't, I just don't know. But all I know is we've got all we need if we just unseal those documents. I don't see why we can't get congressmen or somebody to say, hey, we got enough votes. Let's unseal this and dig in. Right?
It's already been shown in a courtroom.
Yeah. It's all evidence because it was used in court to put her behind bars. So instead of all these people that are all saying, oh, I got this, I shot this, blah, blah, blah. That's all hearsay. That's not going to be evidence you can use in court. But this is all they have to do is unseal it, open it up, and let the FBI or whoever's going to.
Exhibit GX52. Mm-hmm. Exhibit GX52. And there's a couple photos of that. Now, mind you, everything inside it's redacted. blacked out. You know how that is. These guys aren't going to let you see the goods, but
they'll use it in court. They
they'll
have to share it.
so it's out there. If you do a search on it, you'll start seeing images.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the trail. You'll get things. You'll have a better picture of it than what the quote unquote the elite want you to have. But I can tell you this much: the more you delve into this, the angrier you get. That's all there is to it. You just get furious,
Mm-hmm.
and so just good luck. It's not going to be a fun trip for us. We're at that point where, you know, whole portions of the states could like just suddenly lose power, or like receive like a deluge of water and get washed away. I mean, just weird stuff like that could happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, look how many victims have just mysteriously died in car accidents or overdoses, drownings, you know, all these different things happening to these victims. And, you know, I'd like to get to the bottom of it. But for myself, if they open this stuff from her case and unseal it, and, you know, people like congressmen and stuff start reading it out, you know, out in public and telling me what's in there, I'm more likely to believe that than I am going to be some other guy that's internet big wig, whatever, reading it, saying that it's something. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lean more towards the court telling me than I am, you know, someone else. So to me, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind seeing that document. And then if they say, well, this is all we have, and this was them doing this for clients and blah, blah, blah. And then they bring out the clients and yeah, they're these people or whatever, but it's not all the people that, you know, we've been told over the years that was there or whatever, then I would tend more likely to believe whatever it is that they have in those documents. But the stuff that was presented in court, I'm telling you right now, wasn't blocked out. They were able to see everything on those papers, or she wouldn't be behind bars. You see what I mean? So
1,000 names in that 97-page little black book. Like,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's plenty of lead.
Yeah, tons of them, and they could go to each of them and say, "Okay, this is your chance. Spill the beans, or you're going to be one of the people that we're going to take to court." You know what I mean? So
the other thing that we've had happen here in the last 36 hours
mm-hmm.
is Dan Bongino's on social media blackout.
Yeah.
And there's rumors from Axios, and
mm-hmm.
Benny Johnson reported on it. Laura Loomer's reported on it. Mainstream media hasn't really fucked with it yet. It's coming.
Yeah.
But supposedly he fled, turned away, said fuck you to his job. And it's mainly pointed at the little blonde lady that has.
He said that if she doesn't get fired, he's going to quit. And I was like, oh, that doesn't sound like somebody that was in the Secret Service to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was I'm questioning that myself.
Yeah,
because I know professionals, and professionals don't speak like that. Mm-hmm. But to have somebody completely take any momentum you've got on a case, and when you're in the middle of a case and you're on the winning side, like you don't mind doing victory laps, and they're mm-hmm. doing victory laps for the past 6 months, and yeah, we've got things ready to go. It's no problem. We'll show you, and then all of a sudden, and then both guys come out on TV. I'm talking about Cash and Joe.
Yeah.
Or Cash and Bongino. And they start talking about like this was definitely a suicide, and they're acting like their nuts were amputated before, like right before the cameras rolled. Like they just, you know, Hillary Clinton came out and she put them in the lockbox, mm-hmm. and they're both acting like that. The cat got your balls.
It was suspicious, wasn't it?
Very.
It made all the hair on the back of your neck stand up. That's why I called this show Reverse Psychology tonight, because to me, what I played at the opening with the guy from V from Vendetta basically is the only thing that makes sense. I mean, it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but honestly, after watching all this stuff leading up to it, we're all just sitting around going, what the fuck? Excuse my language. I know it wasn't ladylike, but I was like, what the hell's going on? Am I on Venus, or, I'm on another planet? What's going on? Because it didn't make any sense. None of this makes sense. That's why I was saying, when he said, read The Art of the Deal, and I was like, now that makes sense, because Trump knows they hate him. These people cannot stand this man. So if he says, nobody's allowed to go swimming because the sharks are going to eat you. And then everybody says, oh, he's wanting to starve the sharks. And everybody just starts running out into the ocean. That's what I
put some barbecue sauce on me first.
But that's where we're at. I mean, it's that ridiculous right now. And I really do believe that we have seen more stuff come out about this whole situation from both sides, from every side, from every angle that you could possibly think of since this came out. So to me, it's interesting. So what do you think, Ruben?
Everything is a stage play. It's performative.
Yeah.
And how'd you say it? The January 6th for me was a black pill moment. This is also a black pill moment. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that the truth has to come out now more than ever. And if it's basically this is a Streisand effect, then so be it. Because the fact you say everything's there means that something is there. And it is deeper, and basically everything's clicking. And I don't want to say anything because I don't want to get you banned, but I already know what's going on.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to what I had said a long time ago about the whole ancient idea of the Abrahamic religions having their Game of Thrones, and it's all based upon that. It's the Christians doing their thing, the Jews doing their thing, and the Muslims doing their thing, and it's all the war, the ancient war that they're fighting over, and it's all that stuff, and it's but that's the whole idea. Then that's the thing is everything we already know, and this is proven fact. It's already said it. The CIA killed JFK. They say that already, and nobody did. Nobody
batted an eye.
No one batted an eye. See what that means? That that they have succeeded. Because again, think about it. When you were born, and again, I got some jabby jabs, not too many, and I go to a doctor, and they still saying, "Are you up to your jabs? Are you up to this? Blah blah blah." And I go, "No." So I'm a pureblood. Okay, so then that tells me right there, I'm ostracized. I use my real name because I want them to know I'm coming because I'm done. Okay, this is all sent back, goes back to everything I've said since the very beginning. This, again, he's Trump's not wrong. He's a creep. He knew. Okay, so that he's not wrong, and still talking about it because again, that's fine. Still talking about it is fine. But the thing is that what's so telling is everything's coming true in the sense that, okay, Biden, you had Jake Tapper trying to sell his book now. And when he's on tape lying about, he's sharp as a tack. They're all lying. But what's even more insidious is just like October 7th was set up by the Mossad.
Mm-hmm.
They did it. On their own, they don't care. They want just like Lindsey Graham, who's a whore for war. They want this shit, and you've got the military contractors doing it, all that stuff. But again, going back to what I was saying, you're born, and then you're fed into the Rockefeller model of we want workers and drones. I tell the story again. I always say it. It used to be when cars were invented. You had the master and apprentice, and then you had the guy build the car. So one guy could build a car. And then they said, no. You do steering wheel. You do this. You do that. And that's all you did. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, how do they make you feel bad? They got to and feel good. It's all about taking the money out of your own pocket for the poor. That's why they created the Great Depression. The Great Depression was a U.S. creation. The Depression was everywhere. The Great was here. because they wanted to enslave you. Social Security, insurance, welfare, all that shit. And so then now you're part of it. And it's part of ingrained in there. And you're gonna be now, and then the same thing happens. Oh, let's take Christianity, pervert it with Santa Claus, and make Coca-Cola, and then let's make that our branding and make everything around that. And everyone does it for every other thing. They do. It's all about consumerism doing that. The big boom after, and then they throw a war or two out there to get control.
Yep.
You know, Bretton Woods. You know, in 1945, 1913, the creature from Jekyll Island, all that stuff. If you go back, look at what they did in Titanic. Again, the Titanic didn't sink itself either. It's all there. It's a great grand conspiracy, and again, this has to stop. And I'm done with it. You just today, they had those people in Texas. The
this happening.
The Antifa they arrested in Texas.
Yeah, I saw that. Mm-hmm. I saw that.
Okay.
But
so you know how that happens, right? How it happens is the government has an informant that infiltrates Antifa. Then they say, hey, set it up. So the government sets it up and puts them there. Then they arrest them. It's the same thing they did with Whitmer and all that stuff. They're doing it. It's theater now. It's performative. They get some dumbasses to do this and they say, look, we did it. No, you set it up. Arsonist and fireman. I'm done. It's performative. You know,
the thing is, I know that
it has to break down.
That there's real people out there like me that have jobs doing things in their cities and towns that are not involved in setting up coups, fake things, and we're the ones that are just trying to get to the truth and save our towns, save our cities and our states from the corruption by trying to go out and get rid of the people that we feel aren't good for our state. And, you know, we've been doing that for a while. And I think the people who have been doing that are the only reason why we are right now not being run by Kamala Harris. So honestly, I really do believe that. So I do believe there's enough of us that we can win. And there's enough of us that have weapons that are willing to fight for this country. And I really do believe that. And I'm one of them.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not going to be weapons. It's going to be it can't be weapons. It's not going to be weapons. It has to be the Convention of States.
It's all psychological.
Or third party candidates. In regional things, you got to take it over somehow. Because again, I don't trust anybody in a party anymore at all. I don't. I'm done. I don't any sides. You know, I again, the reason for YouTube for me was accountability on what I put out there, what I believe, and be accountable for it, and then hold true to what I have. And I don't want to take anybody. I don't want to speak for anybody on any topic. I'm speaking for myself. I'm nobody. Yeah. You know, just my life.
Me too. But you are somebody.
And then but
the thing is, when you speak, people are listening to you. It may not be hundreds of thousands, but the few people that you're in contact with, you do make a difference. And that is all we have. Okay. It's either go get your guns, join the military, start fighting, or go do whatever, you know, do different things and give up what you have at home to go out and try to make a difference somewhere else. Or you do what you're doing, you live your life, you help the people that you care about, and you try to share as many facts as you can to try to get other people to see a different side of what you think everybody's being force-fed. You see what I mean? And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and then the thing is that people are now being misled and they believe everything they see, and it's filtered because that's what the algorithm wants you to do. You only see what you want to see. It's confirmation bias. Yeah, it's already curated for you, but it'll separate you. So you have to be objective.
Did you fall for it?
No.
Okay, but Bruce, did you fall for it?
I have.
You have fallen for it?
I have before. I mean, how else
are you falling for it now, today?
How are we falling for it today? Let me answer this.
No, you. I'm asking you. Well, is Bruce falling for all this tribble?
I've gotten so upset following the Epstein the Epstein trial and drama,
Mm-hmm.
that the Ghislaine Maxwell crap, and coming into this week, that
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to watch media. I don't even want to have the news on, and I usually enjoy the news, but now all I'm hearing is just there's a distraction over here, shiny fuzzy ball over here. Look at the
Yeah.
funny fuzzy ball, little baby,
Yeah.
and now it doesn't it's not even a matter of who's in power versus who we're trying to go after, because they're the same fucking person. It's the
Yeah.
same fucking person. It feels like you don't even want to think about the uniparty being in control now that Trump won, but motherfucker, that's all it is. And for the first half of the day that I was watching just patterns of news and like more news agencies piling on to certain stories, and nobody in mainstream's talked about Bongino yet. So that's the only thing I've fucking monitored today is anything on Bongino, and 99% of the people talking about that are alt-right like myself, or
Mm-hmm.
people who I would actually value for news, but nothing from CNN, ABC, MSNBC. None of those bullshit artists have talked
Yeah.
about Dan Bongino yet,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody else is kind of just wanting to focus on. Oh my God! Did you hear about Fox News wanting to grill Pam Bondi? Did you hear about how the people of MAGA want to fucking fry Pam Bondi? How dare we want to do these things to pretty little Pam Bondi? She's just an innocent little caretaker and a
Well,
secretary in this
see,
mess.
I don't look at it that way at all. To
Okay.
me, I'm looking at it as if Donald Trump, the person I voted for 3 times,
He was in Kerrville.
okay,
There's
if
nothing
he
involving
got,
with him.
no, he knows what's going on. He's got 1 million people all sending him information. He's being updated on everything that's going on. Okay.
Sure.
And he has answered questions yesterday or the day before
Oh,
about
yeah,
the whole thing, right?
When
So
he heard the
if
name
he,
fucking Epstein,
I
and
know,
he
but
went
if
off
he
on a
comes
tear.
out and he says, well, I don't like the way certain people have been handling this situation. I think it's gotten out of control. So I've asked her to step down. Okay. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, well, good. That's why we voted for him, to see what's happening, to see whether or not they're doing their jobs. And if they aren't, to remove them and put someone else in their place.
See, I just don't feel that Trump is actually part of the news that I'm focusing on right now. He's looking at the human reactions and the rebuilding of Kerrville, Hunt, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and he's getting on a jet. And then there's like 70 fucking social media posts of all these firefighters taking their hats off when they introduce themselves to Melania, which I gotta say, I think every guy would take his hat off.
Yeah.
If he's meeting her, even if she's in a ball cap or a fucking bandana or a do-rag, you take your goddamn hat off. She's a goddamn beauty pageant queen, and she's the first fucking lady of the United States. Almost said first fucking lady of the planet, but no. But then you've got the DC Uniparty out there, which is shutting things down. And whenever Trump heard about Epstein's name at a table earlier this week, why are we still talking about this? Why are we still talking about Epstein? That guy's a fucking creep. God damn it. There's better news. We got Texas to talk about. Let's not talk about Epstein. That guy's a loser, And I don't think he was talking about it to try to sweep shit under the rug. But I think after,
at that moment, he didn't think that was the priority to talk about. He thought that Texas and some of the other things should be over that at that moment. So that's why I got upset at that reporter for it. And I can understand it because I paid attention to the interview. But see, most people are not even watching those things. All they're doing is they're sitting on social media and they're just reading what their people are saying instead of worrying about what's happening to the United States. Are we going to, what's going on with these other countries, all the different things that Trump has to worry about. But what I'm saying is I can be patient and wait for my president to say, okay, I've been informed, this is what's going on, and I'm deciding to get rid of this person and bring someone else in. That happens all the time in every administration, right? Even in states.
Yeah.
In every state, people come in, people leave because they don't clash or they're not doing what they thought they were going to do when they brought him in. It's just like any person that runs any business. If you're not happy or satisfied with your employee, you give them a pink slip. That's their job. So, but the thing is, I voted for Trump. I trust Trump. I think he's doing a great job with what he's got to work with. And I'm just going to let him do what he's supposed to do. And the girls that were assaulted on these islands and on this other property through the whole Epstein thing, they've been waiting a long time for justice. And I can be patient if those girls can be patient. You see what I'm saying? So I'm willing to step back and let the things happen like they're happening, and only because I trust Trump. And I know that Trump isn't going to just not do what he thinks is the best for everyone in this country. And I think he will. It's just going to, like I said, open the unseal everything from Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, and we have everything we need to start digging in and get whatever we have to do.
If we can get to that point, I'll be fucking happy. Right now,
that's what I'm hoping for.
Whenever it's dealing with Trump, I'm generally pretty happy with the things that come out of his mouth, like 90% of the time, maybe higher, 95. But I'm just gonna say that it's DC that, amazingly enough, is steering America straight into the burning pile of shit. And I swear to God, like, there's two ways that you can ruin a good thing. One, you give two monkeys a football, or two, you let DC make a decision.
Yeah.
And one of those two things happens on a daily basis, maybe both.
Yeah.
And fuck me, but like, it's all we ever get. And anytime DC's involved, it just seems like, listen, we investigate ourselves. We found nothing wrong. What's going on here? And then we had the missing minute come up today for the Epstein video, and it's still quote unquote kind of like a nothing burger. But at the same time, like, how did that get edited out? How did that get? How did they fuck this up? They could have just left that minute in there.
Isn't that interesting though?
Yeah.
How they release it knowing there's a minute missing. What do you think they think is going to happen when we see that? We're going to look into it.
Yeah,
we're going to demand to find out. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I said I believe this is reverse psychology. They are putting out what they know is bullshit, and they want us and everyone else, all the reporters and journalists or whatever, to start digging in and throwing the shit out. You see what I mean?
I'm not disagreeing with your stance. Like, I trust Trump. I do. I do. But I'm getting to the point where I really just don't want any of these Bolsheviks to be alive anymore. And the quicker we can get a fleet of fucking wood chippers to DC and make some nice fucking compost and not have to deal with these fucking commies anymore, I'll be so fucking happy. But
did you see this?
Yeah.
It was on the wrong floor.
Until then, yeah, it was on the wrong floor. All the things they've completely fucked up, dude.
But okay, well, I want to stop talking about this for a little bit because I got some other things that have been happening. Because remember, other things are happening every single minute of the day, even with Epstein bullshit. Okay, so other things are happening in our country, and I want to touch on a few of the other ones, some good and some not so good. But I think this is important. So I don't know if you guys heard about it, but it says 9 people were indicted in South Texas for harvesting, including
I told you they're corrupt motherfuckers.
Okay, but so Baxter County Democratic harvesting party for the former Democrat Texas House candidate. Okay, so I want to play this whole thing by Fox News with the Waters or whatever, and we'll see how this goes. Let's play it and see what happens.
Manuel is accused of providing compensation in exchange for vote harvesting services on behalf of former Texas Democrat House candidate Cecilia Castellano. Multiple defendants are accused of providing vote harvesting service for Cecilia in exchange for money paid through cash apps. These 9 are on the top of another 6 indicted back in May by Ken Paxton for alleged vote harvesting that apparently never happened. Fox News alert: 9 people were just
So
indicted
the
in
thing
South Texas.
is that, see, little things like this, which is a win, okay? Because why did we end up getting Biden? Because of all the corruption when it came to the votes. So little by little, I've seen this thing, that thing, and something else, in all different states where people are being arrested for cheating, basically, when it comes to it. And we have to clean up the way people are able to vote to make sure that they get a vote, one vote for every person. And until the people believe that when they go to vote, that it's actually going to be counted as what they put down on the paper, people are wanting to know that their vote means something. So the more of this we can get out, the better. But go ahead, Ruben. You want to jump in?
Like I told you, South Texas is full of shit. They're evil. They're fucking corrupt. No, they are. South Texas, they are. Oh no! But they did. I had not a dream, but a memory. My grandfather fought against the Democratic Party in Laredo, and he stood up because he saw he was the tax auditor for the city, and he showed that there was a scandal, and then they closed it out. They fired him, disgraced him, and he ended up having to be a vacuum cleaner salesman. Yeah, probably. Yeah. So that's why I always know that it's like, God, the favors, the whole corruption. Whenever I see it happen in anything, that's why I'm so disillusioned, with everything.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people are. Many people that I've talked to at church, at different function I've gone to in Texas or in Louisiana, in Arkansas, a lot of people just say, well, if they don't start fixing some of these things, I probably won't vote again. And that's a scary thought to think about, people not wanting to vote simply because they want to make sure that somebody does something to stop the cheating and to prosecute some of these people. But the thing is, you don't see it plastered all over everything. You see this stuff about Pam Bondi everywhere, but when you see this kind of stuff, people, it's just barely a blip on the radar. And that's part of the problem. That's why I think people like us that actually talk about and share this kind of information to let people know that stuff is happening. It's just that it's pushed so far down the ladder that most people don't even know about it. So I think it's important that we try to share truthful, factual information that things are happening, that children.
You know what's really weird?
Good things are happening in our country.
You know what's really weird? It's been going on. The storms.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, we've been talking about some of the weird phenomenons.
And it's been storming here. It's been storming every night in Chicago.
Yeah.
And it's been flooding here too, which is very, very odd.
I heard that we've also had a few earthquakes here and there in the United States. Is that true or not?
It's the apocalypse. It's beginning.
I don't know. It just seems bizarre that we're having so many different types of weather problems and things to do with the earth. You know what I mean? But just another thing, I bet you guys haven't heard about this, but this is very interesting because I get sent lots of stuff from TikTok, and Instagram, Rumble. I mean, I got a lot of people sending me things, and I try to watch as much as I can. Believe me, it's hard when you have a real life, and I have chickens, and I do stuff.
It's so hard.
So, but I want to share this. It says a federal judge engaging in lawfare may have just given the pro-life movement everything they've ever wanted, legal status for the unborn. So have you guys heard this?
No, but I got something along those lines. So kick it over to me when you're done.
Okay, I will. Here we go. Now listen to this. It's very, very interesting. And I'm going to share this link after we're done in the chat for anybody that's interested in sharing it with people that they know. Here we go.
Holy crap. This might be the most important ruling in any of our lifetimes. And I don't even think the judge meant to do this. It's almost like play stupid games, win stupid prizes. It looks like a federal judge just gave legal standing to unborn children in an attempt to try to block Donald Trump from ending birthright citizenship. So I don't know if you saw this or not, but a radical left-wing judge in New Hampshire just issued a nationwide injunction to block the execution of the executive order that would have put an end to birthright citizenship in an effort to sidestep the Supreme Court, who just ordered that judges cannot issue nationwide injunctions on individual plaintiff cases. This judge just registered a class action lawsuit and enjoined everybody and those who are not yet born. So as you can see down here in the last paragraph, it goes on and on and on. It says the following class for the purpose of preliminary injunction relief, all current and future persons. He just gave legal standing to the unborn. Can you believe it? A radical left-wing judge trying to block an executive order just opened the floodgates for every pro-life group in America to start filing suit on behalf of the unborn to protect their lives. And I don't even think he realized he did it. Giving legal status to the unborn is exactly what the pro-life movement have been begging for. And this judge and a radical left-wing lawfare campaign just opened that door for them.
So what do you guys think about that?
Okay, the needle's moving back towards the center.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. I mean,
I thought that was very, very interesting, and I am going to share this in the chat for everyone that wants to watch it again, and go to this guy, because everything's on there if you just read it, because it's from TikTok, and it will tell you where to go, and then you can look this up because he put the article and everything on there. So all you got to do is go and look this stuff up, and you can get any more details that you want on it. But this was very interesting, and I cannot wait till tomorrow to share it with a couple of my sisters that dive right into this stuff through their church. They're very, very active, and they go to one of those giant churches in Alabama.
It's super churches.
Yeah, they go to a super church. So I'm excited by giving this to her because I was getting ready for the show and stuff, so I couldn't do it, but it was very interesting. And it's so funny. Like, that's another reason why I wanted to call it reverse psychology, because some of these leftists get so mad when they lose, like when they took the USAID away from them in certain areas and things like that. They don't think. They just go blind with rage, and they start doing dumb shit that's hurting themselves. And we're just standing there watching them like, they're blowing gaskets or whatever. So the fact that he did this by the wording in that injunction that he sent out, you never know, we might benefit from it. So that's why it's important to listen to as much as you possibly can, gather the information, and when you're laying in bed before you go to sleep, read a couple of these things that you get. They're not very long. Just read them and try to understand it. If you don't understand, what I do is I copy and paste words that I don't understand, or I don't have a clue what this means, and I go try to look it up and try to find out, how does this fit in and what does it mean? I'm trying to, because I am not a college graduate, but I wish more people would do that, to take a little bit of time, try to figure these things out, because if it means what this gentleman thinks it means, I mean, it's gonna come back to slap a lot of them in the face, because this is the same group of people that had an abortion van at their convention. Just think about it, okay? And then you have a judge do this. It's shocking, and they don't think the way we do. So the fact that he worded it that way, I don't think he realized it either. But the thing is, I can't wait to find out where this leads to. So does anybody want to say anything else about that? Or move on? News. Yeah, you said you wanted to say something, so go ahead.
I've got something shared. Let me know when you kicked it over.
Well, Ruben, did you want to chime in real quick before I share what Bruce has?
Well, I have not an emergency. I'm fine, but I need to go.
Oh, okay.
I'm okay. I just want to very briefly let everybody know I'm okay. Yesterday, not last day. Oh, shit. 1 week ago, yesterday or tomorrow, I was in the hospital, and I had another attack. I'm fine. Just been a lot going on, and then I've been, a lot of things are going on. And again, this, what do you call it again? These events around the world do correlate not with anxiety, but more with earnest on what we have to do, because this is getting ridiculous. When you basically see everything is a performance, everything's a television show now. It's produced, and don't trust anything. Don't trust what I say. Don't trust what anybody says. But we have to start, standing up to this craziness that's going on around here. It's insane. It's fifth generational warfare at its highest abound, and you have to be very, very careful. I'm going to do what I can do. The lattice of becoming, it's starting. If you want to know more about it, I'll be doing videos about it later, but I'm just been, concentrating on my health. The next big phase for me is I have to find a place to go to and heal up, because it's not working where I am right now. It's getting very difficult. I'm just like falling down a lot and hurting myself a lot more. So I have to be very, very, cautious about what's moving forward. But more will come with there. But I'll keep everybody abreast of what's going on here. But take care very much, and we'll talk to you soon.
God bless you, Ruben.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
You have a good night. Go get some rest.
Yes.
Goodbye. Okay, I'm going to bring it up for you, and then you can.
All right. This is at cleverjourneys.com. Simple, honest, freedom, and fun. Dateline, June 24th, 2025. AG stops liberal leaders of a Texas city from killing unborn babies with taxpayer funds. Nice little AI photo of little cute babies swaddled. Janet is over there going, ooh, they're so cute.
They are. They're adorable.
Abortion tourism program. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, has successfully stopped the city of San Antonio from using taxpayer funds to enable the killing of unborn children by paying for people to travel out of state for abortions. Attorney General Paxton previously sued to shut down the abortion tourism program, which the city of San Antonio appropriated $100,000 for as part of its reproductive justice fund. The program not only violated the Texas Constitution's gift clause, but there is also absolutely zero authority under state law for cities to pay to enable people to avoid Texas's pro-life statutes. And after a erroneous trial court decision in this case, Attorney General Paxton appealed. Texas's 15th Court of Appeals has now correctly ruled that San Antonio must stop the implementation of their program as the case continues to move through the judicial system. Under absolutely no circumstances should any Texas city be funding out-of-state abortion travel, and I will continue to work tirelessly to end this cruel, unlawful, and morally bankrupt program, said Attorney General Ken Paxton. Forcing Texas taxpayers to subsidize abortion tourism is a profound insult to our state's pro-life values and our laws protecting the unborn. As we fight to shut down this program permanently, I'm grateful that the court has moved to stop the implementation of this illegal, radical policy. Is one of the 4 children born every 4 children born. One of them is a Mongolian or Chinese. Anyway, in God we trust. So, Janet, thank you so much for letting me have that. Did you see that, or yes,
No, I hadn't had a chance to see that till you were talking about it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing, and that's what I'm saying. And if we're so bitter and mad about one thing that's been talked about on every platform, and don't look at other things, then we're not knowing. We're going to miss out on things that are happening that are good. So it's important that we don't let ourselves be sucked into the wormhole of hate, basically, because a lot of these people, it's all they do. That's the 24/7. That's all they're doing is spreading crap, to piss people off and divide people. And I just don't agree with that stuff. I don't think that we should be spreading crap and trying to divide each other. I think we should be looking at ways to work together to try to get some of our problems fixed and to help Trump be more successful. And if we're all fighting and throwing each other under the bus, that ain't going to happen. You know, we're not going to be able to be successful. And not every state is full of shit. You know what I mean? I have a lot of good things in the state that I'm in. I mean, I hate ticks and I don't like flies, and I don't really like tornadoes. But besides that, the state's not so bad, you know. And I'm starting to get used to having to drive 47 miles to buy wine, you know, stuff like that, compared to where I was. But we have to make sacrifices in our lives if we expect the future to get better for more than just ourselves. You see what I mean? So at least that's how I feel. You know, and that's how my mom raised me, to care about what happens to other people. And if I can try to do something for them, then I should. If I expect others to do things for me, then I have to be willing to do the same for others. So that's just the way I feel about it. So let's see, what was the next thing I had that I wanted to bring up? So give me 1 second. I think it's this one.
Josh, yeah. While you're doing that, I'm going to say the white whale for me right now is the Idaho Department of Transportation, because they are doing all the friggin' road work all at once, and none of it is completed. So that's kind of a reprieve from all the bullshittery in the political spectrum. But locally, my state has kicked some ass and taken some names. Like we just passed House Bill 380, which introduces the death penalty for certain child sex abuse crimes with aggravated lewd conduct of a minor under the age of 12, potentially leading to a 30-year minimum or the death penalty. So that's cool.
That's That's a good law.
Any, stock in wood chippers, you know, it's probably going to get bumped up a bit.
Oh, well,
but I still say rope is cheap.
Mm-hmm. That's a good law. And you remember I bragged earlier, I think it was a couple months back, 6 months ago, I was bragging that my governor was one of the first ones to stand up and say China can't buy land in our state, and took some land away from them when she found out that they
not enough, but it's a good start. It's a good start.
But the thing
is, a good start. But see it happen.
But so you want me to bring that up before
we're working on it here.
Right here.
I just was sharing a meme. Do you see it?
Oh yes, I just shared it on the screen. Holy shit!
Fucking Gab. I tell you what, Gab is good for two things: the rare meme that doesn't make it to Twitter as much as it should, and anti-Semitism. And this time we got the former.
Yeah, it's funny though. That was funny. But yeah, here's the next thing I thought was pretty good. It's some more pretty good news. And I just, I really love this guy. I just absolutely love this guy. So there's a couple that Trump does have on his cabinet that every single thing they've ever done, I'm like, yes, I just love this person. So he's one of them. I really like him. If I ever get to meet him in person, I want to give him a big hug. I'll probably get frisked a lot so that they don't think I'm some kind of nut. But I'm a hugger when I meet people. So I would love to give him a big hug, just because I just think he's such a good person, and he loves this country. So I want to play his little interview here. So here we go.
I got one thing I need to say real quick before I leave.
Take your notes from me, Tom.
Take my notes from me. I'm going to read it. I don't want any misinterpretation when I'm reading it. The registration requirements under 8 U.S.C. 1302. If you're illegal in the United States, this message is for you. You cannot hide from ICE. We're actively looking for you. Federal law requires every alien in the United States who has been present in the United States more than 30 days needs to register. For those 14 years or older, you need to be fingerprinted with the Department of Homeland Security. Federal law requires every alien in the United States to tell DHS in writing if you have a change in address within 10 days of changing that address. Failing to register with DHS and failing to tell DHS about your new address are criminal offenses, and they're going to be treated as such. Starting today. Make no mistake, if you're in the country illegally and you fail to do what the law requires, we will prosecute you, you will go to jail, then we'll deport you. Second law, penalties for failure to depart, 8 U.S.C. 1253. If you're an alien inside the United States who has a final order, this message for you. If you have a final order, the Trump administration is committed to enforcing our immigration laws, especially for those aliens who have received final orders of deportation. There are currently around 1.4 million illegal aliens who have been ordered removed, but remain here in violation of the law. We will aggressively prosecute, consistent with longstanding law, those aliens for failing or refusing to depart, or who takes other related actions aimed at hindering their removal. You cannot open the door. You cannot answer questions. You cannot open your car door. You consider it to evade law enforcement. If you fail to leave the United States after receiving a removal order, we can and will issue monetary fines up to $998 a day.
Damn.
Evading your arrest, knowing you have a final order or removal, is a criminal offense. We will prosecute, then we'll deport you. Get your affairs in order. If you're in the country illegally, work with ICE, go to CBP One Home app, and leave on your own. Because we have to find you, deport you, and prosecute you. You'll have a bar placed on you, and you won't come back to this country. You won't be able to come back on a visitor's visa, a tourist visa. If you have your citizen child, can't petition for you. If you're in this country, well, you get your affairs in order and work with us and get yourself removed from this country. That's what law requires, and we're going to enforce that law.
I love it. I think that's great. And see how many people right now in this chat knew any of that. Have you heard any of that on the news besides Fox News?
You don't see him on other news.
I knew a little bit of it, but that's me reading
I shared
about
it in
it,
the chat.
but nothing on the news.
I shared it in the chat. It's a link so you can get all the information and write it down, because see, that's something you can tell people. This is what they're doing. If an illegal alien knows they're illegal because they came over the border, right? They get the app because they seem to all have phones. It's so funny how, everyone has a phone, even when they have nothing, supposedly, and put this app on your phone and deport yourself, self-deport. Tell them I want to get out. And guess what? You'll get help to get out. But if you don't, you will be prosecuted, because as you can say, I saw some videos today. I wish I'd been able to get them because I had so many, but it had people in a car watching other cars in front of them, and they were going to Lowe's or something, and they were arresting people, stopping cars and getting them out of the people's cars and arresting them to deport them. So, and this is in California. So they are really cracking down right now in California, which is great. I mean, I in a way, I kind of think that they picked California as one of the places, and New York, because those are the two states that I've seen most of the big stings going down and stuff. I think they purposely picked both those states to be the ones that they are doing the hardest hit on, because I think they really do believe that that's where a shit ton of them are at, because they have sanctuary cities there. So I'm just loving it. Every time I see any video of people being arrested, in front of a Lowe's, and they're all, you see everybody start running, and stuff. It's great. I mean, I'm loving seeing our government doing what they said they were going to do. And that's the good stuff that nobody seems to be sharing. All the good things that our tax dollars are hard at work doing with people like him to make sure that it's getting done. He's making sure that his people under him are kicking ass and taking names. And that's what I voted for. So I just want to share that. But either one of you want to say anything else about that before I go to the next subject?
Oh, it's just an example of fuck around and find out.
Yep.
But definitely. We're doing it legal.
Yeah. I love it.
And that's the thing, because you can't have a judge in a lower court go, oh, well, they didn't do this, that, or the other, because then they got the receipts and they go, look, we followed the letter of the law. This is what it states. This is what we're doing. And then they're in the clear.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, this next thing I thought was pretty interesting because he's being interviewed about an interview they just did with Biden's doctor. Did you guys see the interview with him when they were asking him all
I
these
avoided
questions?
it because if he's going to be pleading the fifth on everything, that's just going to piss me off, and then I'm going to end up,
and that's
punching a
what
hole in
this
the
guy's
wall or
talking
something.
about.
Yeah, that like I avoid news for a majority of like anything Democrat related. Like I might peek at it, but if I'm smelling bullshit, I'm out. Fuck you. I'm done.
Well, this is important, okay? Because these people, believe it or not, are working on getting enough evidence to prove that all these people knew this person was not someone that should be president of the United States. Okay. And if they knew it and they helped put him in office anyways, don't you guys think that that's like illegal? And you have to gather evidence to take any of these people to court. And I know it sucks to hear it and it's depressing, but if we don't do this, then nothing changes. And all I hear is people saying, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to arrest people, you got to have evidence to go to court to prove that these people did this. And this is the only way to get it, is by doing this boring, tedious shit. But it's worth it, because one day when these people get taken down, we're going to say, yep, I watched that and they're full of shit. And I believe everything they're saying because I saw a lot of that shit as it unfolded. So here we go. I'm going to let you listen to this. You can turn your mics down if you're not interested. But for the people that want to hear what he has to say, I'd appreciate you letting me play it. So here we go.
I can tell you exactly what happened. Dr. O'Connor pleaded the Fifth Amendment, and I'm gonna read the first two questions that were asked. Were you ever told to lie about the president's health? He pleaded the Fifth Amendment. He would not answer that question. The second question: did you ever believe President Biden was unfit to execute his duties? Again, President Biden's White House position pleaded the Fifth Amendment. This is unprecedented, and I think that this adds more fuel to the fire that there was a cover-up. I believe that this adds legitimacy to the Tapper book and the other books that are in the works that are about to come out that shows there was a lot of suspicious activity taking place in the White House with respect to the president's health. This is something I think every American is concerned about. I think every American wants to know the truth. We're going to continue this investigation. We'll move forward. We have several other witnesses that are going to come in for depositions and transcribed interviews. We will do everything in our ability to be transparent with the media, to be transparent with the American people. This is very serious. And this was an opportunity for Dr. O'Connor to defend his reputation, to defend his work, and he chose to take the Fifth. And I think that, that's something that every American is going to be concerned about.
Is some of that because of the doctor-patient confidentiality? I mean, there are questions about, HIPAA and Hippocratic Oath.
The first two questions pertained, again, were you ever told to lie about the president's health? And he said the Fifth.
But you know,
it had nothing to do with it.
But you know that when you have these depositions, people don't toggle back and forth. Either they invoke the Fifth or they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, could that have been just giving themselves a shield overall because they don't go back and forth?
Most people invoke the Fifth when they have criminal liability. Mm-hmm. And, that's what it would appear on the surface here. So we're not going to, we're going to continue to move forward. Obviously, I think his actions today speak loud and clear. Again, this was an opportunity to come clean. And, he said, the president was in great health. This is just a conspiracy theory. He was fine. I don't know why they used the auto pen. 75% of the time when he was in the White House. I mean, this is what it's all about. It's about the article. There is serious concern, and the evidence mounts by the minute that Joe Biden had no idea what his name was being signed to. And we're talking about executive orders, and we're talking about pardons. So, what Dr. O'Connor did today only added fuel to the fire, that there was a cover-up and that, Joe Biden wasn't mentally fit to serve as president of the United States.
Okay, well, one of the things about this whole thing is, just think about it. You have a person, let's say it's in your own family, that you have a grandfather that you remember when you were little that was real hands-on. Well, now he's, let's say, 98, okay? And he's real old. He can't do anything, and he's got a nurse or whatever, that a nanny or whatever you want to call it, that's taking care of him. But every time you turn around, she's got a check she's cashing. Okay, so she's draining money from your grandpa's account, and you think that that's bullshit, that she's stealing. Well, how do you prove that she's stealing? You have to prove that she's getting him to sign checks to her so she can spend the money. Well, how are you going to do that? See, that's basically what happened with Biden. You got a guy that doesn't know shit. He's shitting himself. They keep him jacked up on drugs just to keep him standing up in a standing upright position. But you got his wife or whoever is getting him to fake sign papers or whatever, and using that to their advantage for money, for favors, or for whatever it is. And it's our tax dollars. So we have the right to know whether that guy that was supposed to be signing stuff was coherent enough to even know what he was signing. And they have to prove that this doctor helped cover up the fact that he half the time didn't even know who he was. If any of you watching this had anyone in your family that's had Alzheimer's or any other kind of a dementia and had a conversation with these people, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay, I have had a couple members of my own family that were this bad, and it's heartbreaking when you're talking to them and they have a look on their face that they have no idea who you are. And then another day you'll go see them and they recognize you and their face lights up and they're all happy to see you and stuff. And they can actually talk to you about a few things that they remember. And then another time you see them, they had that blank look and they're like, they don't know who you are. And you can tell. And you can't tell me that Jill Biden, his wife, would be able to sit in a room with him and have a conversation half the time knowing he's not even in there. Okay, he's gone. So she's liable. I mean, all these people, because I said from early on, before he was even president, that she should be put in jail for elder abuse, because some of the things that I saw her doing on TV, I thought was wrong, simply because I've had people in my family with dementia, and it's wrong to make them do things. That's like putting them in a pride parade totally naked, knowing they don't know they're naked. You see what I mean? It's wrong. It's abuse. Even though I don't like the man and I didn't vote for him ever, and I never would have, I still think it's wrong, period. And I want this to come out. I want them to prove whether or not he even knew what he was doing, because from what I could see, the tiny bit that they didn't have him in the basement, he didn't know who he was most of the time I saw him. He couldn't even walk. And he had bruises all over his hands. I mean, he was just, they jabbed him up with so much. I guarantee his legs were jabbed up. That had IVs on him all the time to keep him to stand up. And it's sad. And I think
he was definitely juked.
Yeah.
To stay cognitive.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to show you another one. And this is the video, just a small part of the doctor, his actual doctor, being interviewed by some of these people that they interviewed when he came out. So I want you to see some of it, because if you don't know what's going on, then you're not going to understand later when this is going in front of Congress to prove that these people dragged basically a man who had a shell of a human and made him parade around and humiliate him, because you can't tell me that these other countries, when they met him and stuff, didn't just go, what the fuck? I'm telling you, it's sad that we in our country, we had this, and we hadn't been bombarded with nuclear warheads or something. That's what I was petrified about. I was petrified that during this time was when China or what other country that wanted to invade us was gonna. And what a perfect time for them to bring in 10 million, 20 million illegals. We don't know where they're come. Everybody says Mexico all the time, but I'm telling you right now, maybe a few million came from Mexico. The rest came from Guatemala, and other countries from around the world. And they weren't little babies and little kids, all of them. Most of them were fighting age young men. And I'm telling you, I'm just still waiting for something bad to happen because of that. And I pray they get to the bottom of this, because we cannot let something like this ever happen again. It doesn't matter whether it's for the side that I think I'm on or the side that the other people are on. It doesn't matter. This can't happen. This cannot be something that becomes normal. It just can't. We vote for someone, we expect them to be able to walk and talk and make decisions. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. Here's the next part. Sorry. I got a dry throat, but I think this is the one. No, this isn't it.
Grab a drink.
Yeah, this isn't it. So just give me a second. I clicked on the wrong one. Darn it. Hate it when I do that. I thought I had it in order, but I guess I got one of them out of the way. It says Gabriel 36. So maybe it says, no, that's not the one. Oh, okay. I got to go down to Libs of TikTok, because that's where I got it from. There she is, right there. Okay, here it is. All right, I'm going to open it up. Let me pause it so you guys can hear it and everything. Here we go.
Dr. O'Connor, before we begin, I would like to go over the ground rules for this deposition. The committee will conduct today's deposition in accordance with the House of Representatives regulations for the use of deposition authority, which were furnished to your council. This regulation is incorporated into the rules of the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform at Rule 15, which was also furnished to your council. The questioning will proceed in rounds. The majority will ask questions for an hour, and then the minority will have an opportunity to ask questions for an hour if they choose. There will be one staff counsel per side asking the questions during each round. To the extent members have questions for the witness, they will be propounded during their side's respective rounds. Do you understand?
On the advice of counsel, I must respectfully decline to answer based on the physician-patient privilege and reliance on my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. I am not a lawyer, and I must follow my lawyer's advice in this matter.
So, gentlemen, we intend to assert both privileges with regard to any questions that would be asked at this deposition. And Dr. O'Connor will not answer any questions.
Can we go off the record for 1 second?
There you go. So he answered nothing. He said it to every single question they asked. So how does the American people ever get the truth when no one will answer any questions?
It's bad optics. I'll tell you that.
That's right. It's because they're so corrupt, they can't even answer one thing. And that's, to me, that's enough evidence right there. Because if someone came and asked me a question about whether or not, whatever, unless I was guilty, I wouldn't answer it. You see what I mean? I would tell the truth because that's who I am. But this person, I guarantee once they start digging in, he's got extra money somewhere and a few other things, or maybe he's being blackmailed. I don't know. But the only way to find out is by them investigating. And that's what they're trying to do. And it sucks that it's this bad. You know what I mean? That we're this bad off in so many levels of our government. But the fact that a group of people could take a person that's basically a corpse that's just breathing and walking, and they can get them to walk and do things like that. But basically is being handled by Jill. Okay, so she has to know that this is all going on because she's the one that spends most of the time with them. and that he is not capable of doing some of these things, but he is doing it, and she's getting lots of money to do it. Or why else would she do it? She's the president's wife. Okay. So basically, she's president because she's basically making all these decisions. So basically, you know, until we can investigate and get enough answers, then I think the American people have the right to see when they ask someone a question and they say, I plead the fifth, I plead the fifth, I plead the fifth, I plead the fifth on every single question asked. What do you think the most of the people, the 77 million people in this country that voted for Trump, are going to believe? Do you think they're going to believe that, oh, he's trying to protect his client because he had cancer or because he had this, that, and the other? He didn't ask him, did he have cancer? That wasn't the question. So are we supposed to, what happens to our courts with every single person that ever goes to court for a traffic ticket or a divorce or anything, and they all say, I plead the fifth? How do we get anything done? We don't. So we have to start demanding answers or get rid of these people, because that's the only choice that I see that we have. But I'm telling you right now, it looks to me like there are so many people that were corrupt on this administration that we just get rid of. Man, I can't wait to see some people's heads roll. I mean, I really can't. I want to see justice. And to me, this is the beginning of us getting justice. And I know it seems like it takes forever, but I'm hoping that they're going to get at least one person before the end of this year and a half or whatever that comes up. I want to see one person prosecuted for something that they did that we knew that was big. That had to do with some of the things that we put up with. So hopefully we'll see that. But you guys agree?
Yeah, this version of Weekend at Bernie's 3 sucked.
Yeah, it was terrible. And we're all suffering. Well, look how many billions of dollars we sent to Ukraine and whoever else, you know, with this USAID stuff, with money that he signed an executive order for, or whatever he signed. He, as president, gave permission to do certain things against our will, because it wasn't even him. It was someone else or 15 other people. We don't know. And that's why it's important that they do this investigation, because we deserve, you and I, every one of us, 360 million people in this country that work hard and pay taxes, paid for this administration to do all this shit. To send money to all these other countries and to pay all these people money to buy yachts and whatever else, prostitutes. I don't know. I have no idea until they investigate, but I want to see people held accountable for it. And once we start seeing people held accountable, maybe we can start getting some transparency. And the next administration that comes in, the people won't just say, okay, he can stay in his basement and we just live our lives and we don't have to know anything that's going on. Or we're all going to say, the last administration told us this and they showed us that, and we expect that from you too. See what I mean? It'll change the way things are if we don't let them just go back under the desk.
If we don't have a giant pile of bloody parts and some fucking Vermeer wood chippers, I ain't part of it.
Good.
You guys want to fucking go through the pony show of, oh, well, let's go through the court process and, you know, let's put them in prison. No, fuck you. I'm done.
But see, maybe we won't. Have we ever had treason tribunals before in our country?
Now would be a great time to start.
No, but have we?
Not that I know.
Okay, so we have no precedent. So how do you know that? I think I saw some papers people were reading in a space talking about that some laws for treason, depending on, I guess, the levels or whatever, is the death penalty.
That's the only way it's defined. So
what I'm saying is we might just see that. If these people really did these treasonous acts, then they'll be charged with treason.
Oh God, please let it be John Brennan. Please let it be James Comey. God, that would be so wonderful.
There was a lot of people that I really believe in it.
I would love to see them air their thoughts. Give us a ceiling pizza.
I think we will. I think we will see some people tried for treason. But the thing is, it's going to take some time. And so far, that dumbass reporter asking that dumbass question, we got to weed certain things out. And the thing is that we have to stay up on this. We have to be involved and keep our governors and our people in our states that ran for office that are doing these investigations on top, and make sure that they're talking to the press and sharing information of things that they found, because we deserve to know what's going on. Not every detail, because I don't want to, ruin our chances of getting the stuff that we need, but we deserve to know what's going on. So
when Jill wouldn't let me have ice cream. Janet, are you going to let me have ice cream?
Not tonight. But here's one of the things that you sent.
And
Isn't this one of the things that you sent?
Yeah, I sent that. But John M says there's been a handful tried for treason in the U.S. John, if it's other than murder or execution for treason, let us know, because I think that's the only way we. Go ahead.
Technically, there's been one actual conviction that I can recall.
Yeah,
and that was in 1947. It was a guy who was aiding his son, who was an enemy spy, accused of saboteur and or sabotage, and so he was tried with being a saboteur, harboring a fugitive, and assisting in his activities. The other ones were from the 1800s. You had Aaron Burr, which was 1807.
Yep.
And then what was the other one? I'll have to quickly punch it in. Give me a sec.
That's okay. But what happened to them? Were they put to
they
death?
were acquitted. If I remember, they were acquitted.
Okay. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of hard to figure out what they're going to do if they do catch these people, and what the crime and the results will be.
There was one execution. That's right. Okay.
One execution.
So this third one.
Mm-hmm.
William Bruce Mumford in 1862, who was executed for treason after tearing down the U.S. flag in support of the Confederacy during the Civil War. He was this trial was conducted by a military tribunal in New Orleans.
Oh, so okay.
So we had one guy executed.
That's another answer.
One guy acquitted, and then the father of a spy tried for treason.
So if we do get evidence from this, this whole thing about the auto pen and all this stuff, and they prove that Biden was not in his right mind to be president, and whoever was getting him to sign all this stuff, because I heard a lot. It was what's her name? Pocahontas. What's her name? Damn it, I can't remember. They call her Pocahontas because she said she was Indian or something.
Talking about Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren. I heard that Elizabeth Warren got 12 or 14 papers signed by him. So they might, I don't know. I'm just saying there's a lot of people whose names supposedly that use the auto pen or whatever. But so if they do get evidence, these people will have to go to a military tribunal if it's done by the government. Is that how it works?
I believe that's the current operating. Yeah,
because military trials are way different than ours, the ones that we have. So that would be very interesting. I would be looking forward to that. I hope they air it. You think they'll air it live for everyone to see?
Hardwick asks about the Rosenberg family. And Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, we looks like we tried them back in 1953.
Yeah,
and they were both executed at Ossining, I guess that's how you pronounce it, New York.
Yeah,
and they were both given the chair, the fucking chair. That's awesome.
So okay, so there is something to go back and look at, so that if something does happen, we'll have something to compare it to see, what the results might be, or possibility of what the results might be. So that's good. I'd never, as far as I can tell you, I didn't know anything about anyone ever being, put to death or anything for treason. So I'm glad that at least we have something. But this next video is pretty interesting, what this gentleman has to say. And Bruce is the reason why I decided to bring it up. So here we go. I'm going to play it for everybody. Where's the play button? It's not automatic. Oh, it's up here. There we go.
Look, I don't think I had unrealistic expectations with respect to the Epstein files, and here's what I mean by that. I mean, I didn't expect Donald Trump to come in and just release all the evidence to the public, in part because if you're actually conducting investigations in order to secure prosecutions, that's probably not what you want to do. I also understood that he was coming in with probably at least a partially hostile bureaucracy within the DOJ, not to mention elements of the intelligence community. And so it was going to take time to get new people in there, identify evidence, and conduct thorough investigations in order to make sure that you can actually secure a prosecution in court. Because one of the worst things that could have happened was rushing this to court and then getting people acquitted who shouldn't have been acquitted. So I got it, right? I got it. I did not have unrealistic expectations. But when I look at this FBI memo, yeah, I have some concerns. If you're going to tell me that there's over 1,000 victims, if you're going to tell me that there's potentially hundreds, if not thousands of hours of video evidence of people conducting crimes, and then you're going to tell me that none of that produces any sort of clients that you can potentially question or subpoena, none of it, there's no associates that will potentially take a plea deal in order to testify, like none of it, that's the part I'm not willing to accept. Now, I will say this. I don't buy that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are sellouts or easily intimidated. Now, I could be wrong, but I just don't think that's true. So I hope that there's actually more to this story. But I will say this, for anybody that thinks that this will just go away if you kick it down the road, yeah, it won't. And it shouldn't. And we'll make sure it doesn't. Look, I don't
100%. think... So, yeah, I agree with them. I think that I have that same feeling. I have that same gut feeling that that it's not going to go away. And I think this administration knows it's not going to go away. And that's why I think it's reverse psychology, the way that they're putting it out there. It's pissing off enough of the people, the left side especially, that they're digging in deep to try to get as much as they can to put it out there. So I think it's working. I think that I'm seeing more and more people interested in it than I ever saw before. So I think it is working. I think that more people are trying to get to the bottom of stuff. And just like I said, it's so simple. All they have to do is open the court documents from Ghislaine Maxwell's trial. Everything is there. The people that testified against Epstein, the black book, everything was used against her. The properties, all that stuff that they took from the island, from his other properties that he owns, and his New York apartment, his plane, his yacht, everything. So everything's there. And all they got to do is open that up. And that's all been used in court already. So we know there's names on there. We know the girls had to testify who they slept with and what they were told they had to do, blah, blah, blah. And those are people. So if they didn't have sex with anyone, then why is she in prison? You see what I mean? So there is people on that list. Now, it's a list, but it's in a black book. I don't remember him saying a client list or anything like that in some of the stuff when I was trying to watch all the stuff that was going on in the trial. They talked about a black book, and it was her black book, not Epstein's. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but that's how easy it is to me. Unseal those documents from the court, and we got all the evidence we need to start digging and getting some names and start interviewing people. It's that simple. So we'll see whether or not they decide to, hey, that's a great idea, let's do that. But we'll have to wait and see if they do it or not. But I thought that was a really good video. So thank you very much. Now, this next thing I thought was pretty interesting was this one with Charlie Kirk. It says six secret agents, service agents, present or otherwise connected to the Butler, PA assassination attempt at President Trump's life have been suspended. The news breaks nearly 1 year to the day after the first anniversary of July 13th. So I thought this was pretty good too, because a lot of us know or feel in our
News alert, we're learning tonight 6 Secret Service agents that were connected to Trump's Butler assassination attempt have been suspended. This comes just days shy of the shooting's anniversary. The identities of the agents suspended are unknown, but sources say their roles range from supervisory positions to line level agents. We'll continue to monitor this story and bring you any updates as they come. Fox News alert.
I think it's great. And I hope that they keep us up. I really like some of the shows on Fox. I don't watch all of it. You know, I don't watch a lot of Fox, but I like certain people that are on there. And I lean more to believing something they might say over others. I know that sounds kind of biased, but I can't help it. Some people have earned my trust, and I feel like others are just full of shit. So I don't listen to them. But I will if someone else sends me something, because Hardwiki sends me emails and he says, hey, check this out. And it's stuff that I hadn't seen. And he does also post things in Discord that are really good and very informative. So, you know, I try to keep up on as best I can. Now, the last couple of weeks I've been very busy, but I'm trying to get caught back in and hopefully find some stuff. But had you guys heard about that whole thing about Butler and then finally suspending these people or not?
Can't say that I have. Like last week, I was in the hospital, and this week I've got family visiting, so it's been hard for me to catch up on current events. Well, try not to piss off the fam.
Yeah. Well, you got to focus on, you know, getting better. And once you do, then you get back up there and we can start doing more. We'll be able to do that. Bruce, you want me to share this video?
Yeah, I think earlier we had some good stuff in the chat, and I wish I would have had control to share it at the moment. But
I'm sorry, I don't know how to do that. If you'll show me later on how I set it up to where when we start, you have control to bring stuff up.
This is Ari Scheifer. Go ahead and just roll it over to me.
Okay, there you go.
Context: this guy is doing a little trial run for a reality TV show back in the 2000s. The TV show would have been called The Amazing Racist.
So he has
no, not in the front. I watched the cab. I need you guys to get in the back. Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
So he has other people filming Amazing Racist.
You can't make something like this nowadays.
So much fun.
We are such a fucking cuck culture. We couldn't have good things. We can't have good things. We can't have nice things.
I never heard of it. How come you've never showed me that before?
Oh, I had to wait for the right moment for the
Well, I never even knew that anything like that existed.
Oh,
And
Janet,
it was
I
on
have such
television.
Too bad that was in like 240p. If it was
Yeah.
in 4K, it would have been
But where was
a little
it?
bit more enjoyable.
Where was it on TV?
Well, it was on. They had a small limited run on TV on the West Coast for it, and then it mainly showed up on DVD. National Lampoons put it out.
Yeah.
The fucking failed reality TV shows were fucking great. Oh, my favorite fucking DVD I've ever owned, and I don't know where that DVD went. I'm so fucking pissed. But The Amazing Racist is super old. It's like 20 years old now. It's so good.
I never heard of it.
He takes
Did
a fucking
did you share the link for it in the chat?
yeah.
In case somebody in the chat later, you know, when they watch the recording or whatever, might want to go and
Yeah.
check out more. Is there other
But
episodes?
your chat knows this guy. Your
I know,
chat
but-
is blowing up right now, talking about. Oh my
Is
god!
there other episodes for him too? He does other stuff.
He almost does other stuff, but I'll shut it off.
That's terrible. I mean, it is funny, but they couldn't do that today. Well, maybe they could now. Someone else could start a new show and do it now because I still see people at different places waiting for people to hire them and give them a job. So, oh my God, that's so horrible. But this is this was very informative because I didn't know this. When I play this, I had no idea that this was truthful. So I was shocked when I watched this video. So here you go. Listen to this.
There's a link.
Nobody's going to talk about the fact that 16 Democratic members of Congress voted against the HALT Fentanyl Act. Senator Cory Booker, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senator Bernie Sanders, Senator Ed Markey, Senator Jeff Merkley, Senator Chris Murphy, Senator Mazie Hirono, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, Senator Tammy Baldwin, Senator Kristen Gillibrand, Senator Alex Padilla, Senator Ben Ray Lujan, Senator Richard Blumenthal, Senator Brian Schatz, Senator Tammy Duckworth, and Senator John Ossoff. Well, let's talk about numbers then. In 2022,
What?
Fuck Tammy Duckworth. She's such a piece of shit. She goes to the fucking
Texas?
military. No, she's from Illinois. She's an
Okay.
Illinois rep, and she went off to fucking fight, supposedly, as an officer. You never really fight as an officer. You really don't. I
Yeah.
mean, you fight, but you generally don't. Like, McCain getting shot down was almost a blessing. It's a shame he left. Anyway, Tammy Duckworth comes back with, like, busted up legs, and then she runs for her office, and she's in Northern Illinois, so she's capitalizing on her veteran status, and look at me, I'm a wounded warrior, blah 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 blah. But she is such a fucking anti-American cunt. I cannot wait for the day for her to fucking go room temperature. She hates America so much. Look at her voting record. She's a fucking anti-American cunt, and now she's got disabled veteran plates. You know, every fucking Veterans Day, she's at Denny's grabbing that fucking $17 breakfast meal. Fuck
Well,
her.
what's sad is, how do these people, if they're that blatantly obvious that they hate this country, how do they keep getting elected?
Have you ever been to Illinois before?
No.
It's really amazing. On voting day, the undead get out of the fucking graves and they shamble off to the fucking lever, and they are programmed to pull only the D. Only the D gets pulled. Yes, you're right. She's a female Democrat, Dan fucking Cyclops Crenshaw, and she's a fucking useless fucking pile of shit as far as humanity's concerned.
But this right here, okay, this fentanyl can kill, I mean, a tiny, tiny amount can kill multiple people. That's how bad it is. And
if you could airburst
voted against stopping fentanyl.
If you could airburst fentanyl, you'd have like a mass casualty event, Janet.
I know. That's what I'm saying. How do we know that all these people, these 20 million illegals that were shipped over here, and then like the videos that we showed a couple times on the Friday Night Shit Show after the Darien Gap video, remember when we did that one?
Mm-hmm.
And we showed the military age men coming over the border, and they were wearing white jogging suits, and they had white tennis shoes. They were given black backpacks, cell phones and stuff, and they were all put on those buses, and they were all driven off. And then some people were interviewed and said that they went to airports and they were flown to different places. So how do we know that whole groups of people in those backpacks didn't have fentanyl and drones? See what I mean? We don't know what was in those bags. We don't know where those people are. We have no idea.
I would say take these 16 Democrats and see if they have ties with the CCP.
Yeah, see,
since
we need
China
to have,
produces a lot of the fentanyl, and then they run it through the cartel.
What reason? And where's all the reporters interviewing them and saying, "Why did you vote against this? Don't you care that people are dying from this drug?"
You're not going to get reporters come out and fucking go against the
No,
narrative.
but that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. If I had a microphone and someone sit me there, I would be in their fucking face asking them questions. But the thing is, I'm not anywhere where I can do that.
You could do that, yes, but in it'd be really weird because then a mysterious set of circumstances would happen and we'd be less one Janet. I know that sounds. I mean, that's just what they do. This is why we have, people whisper the things like, "It's the Mossad. The Mossad did it. And they're the ones that everybody's been whispering about all week because they're the ones.
There must be a lot of idiots because I'm reading some of this.
This is just crazy. I mean, what's going on? It's endemic and it's worldwide. There's no other way to put it, Janet.
Okay, well, let me finish playing this real quick. It's almost over because this man took the time out of his life to share this. Okay, because to him, maybe he had someone who he cared about that died from fentanyl poisoning. The thing is that he took the time to make this video, and I got to see it, and I'm sure many other people got to watch it too. And all these people's names are in this video, and I wish people would hound these people and say, every time someone dies from fentanyl poisoning in your area, wherever these people are, I would send them an email or I'd post it on their websites every day saying, this person just died from fentanyl overdose. This person just died from a fentanyl overdose. This child died because their mother had fentanyl. See what I mean? I want to see them and then confront them. That's what I would do. I'd confront them daily, every month or every week or whatever, where they're having lunch or whatever. If I had money, that's the kind of shit I'd do. I'd be good at that shit. I'd be such a bitch. I'd wear a different costume and show up and say, hey, guess what? Someone else just died. Hope you're happy. You know, I'd be such a hag. I could really piss off some people. This kind
Janet,
of shit.
thank you so much, Janet, for making me think of you ripping the smoochy headpiece off, and then underneath it, it's Janet. Listen, this person's dead because of you. And you're dancing around your big fucking furry smoochy outfit.
I couldn't help it. It just pisses me off because I care. I care that these people didn't care about people's lives enough that they voted against this act. This is ridiculous. And the fact they're still in office is sickening. But let me finish this. I'm sorry. I went on a rant.
107,000 people passed away due to overdose because of this substance. That averages to about 200 lives lost every single day. Over 250,000 of Americans have passed away since 2018 because of this. And yet 16 Democratic members of Congress choose to vote against this bill that would deny access of not only it entering into our country, but the distribution of it. I agree.
It's terrible and sad that these people just keep getting away with so much shit because not enough people stand up and fight for their state and their town or whatever. It's just sad to me. I'm telling you, after a certain amount of stuff, and when I get into the, during election season, when I'm volunteering or trying to help, people see me come in. Some people turn around and leave because they don't want to deal with me, but I can't help it.
Are you telling us that like people got the same reaction seeing you as they do seeing they're in an elevator and they see like a 500-pounder walking towards the elevator?
Yes.
And start pushing that button real quick. Wow.
They want to get the hell out of Dodge because I'm like, what the fuck? This is bullshit. So I can't help it. It just really sucks.
You want to send something over to me? I got something not so happy.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Oh my God.
Oh Jesus.
Oh, that was disgusting. Oh, that was so gross.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Gab.com.
That was terrible. But, let me see what's up here. Is this the next one? Yeah, I think this is a good one. Let me get this up here. I think it's this one. I gotta click on it and see. Yeah, I think this is it. Okay, here's another one that I thought was pretty interesting. It's about John Brennan's security company was busted messing with Obama's passport files, State Department months before he was elected president. Have you heard any of this stuff?
Nope.
Okay, well, I'm going to share this in the chat, but I'm going to pause this and we'll play it and I'll share the link so you guys can hear this. But listen to this. Make sure it's turned up. Okay.
Here's a story time forgot. Remember when John Brennan, Obama's CIA director, the mastermind of the Russiagate hoax to get Trump, remember when John Brennan's security company was caught messing with Obama's passport files at the State Department months before the general election? And a lieutenant cooperating with federal investigators about passport fraud at the State Department was shot dead in his car 1 month later? And then a few years later, after an appropriate amount of time passes so we could forget this, Obama announced John Brennan as a CIA director. Do you remember this story? I do. Let me take you back to March 2008. The State Department reported, quote, unauthorized access to passport files of then candidates Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and John McCain. The breach involved 3 contract employees who accessed sensitive records, including names, dates of birth, and passport numbers. The State Department quickly explained the incidents were merely the results of imprudent curiosity. We didn't want you to know that one of the 5 burglars who reached the State Department for Obama's passport was a security company named the Analysis Corporation, known as TAC. The CEO of TAC? None other than John O. Brennan. These details came out, but the State Department and the media quickly swept it under the rug. It gets better. Don't laugh, but at this exact time, John Brennan was an advisor to the Obama campaign. So, the advisor to the Obama campaign, right around the time everyone was asking about Obama's mysterious origins, has an employee breaking into the State Department and accessing Obama's passport files. So what was TAC doing, sneaking around and messing with Obama's passport? Removing evidence? Of what? Was it the fact that Obama was in and out of Pakistan at the exact time period that John Brennan was in Pakistan, working for the CIA? The documentation on that is pretty compelling. You see, no one seemed to remember where Obama was from 1981 to 1982. Obama claims he was at Columbia University, but we do not have a shred of confirmed real evidence that he was. No records, no school documentation. And get this, shortly after the State Department breach, Obama had to admit that he did in fact travel to Pakistan in 1981. Astute observers noticed that not only was John Brennan working for the CIA in Pakistan, but another CIA name, Brzezinski. That's right, Mika Brzezinski's dad. He was there too. 26 years after Obama seems to have been in Pakistan at the same time Brzezinski and Brennan were, Obama nominates both of these men to be on his presidential campaign advisory team. As our friends at Conservative Treehouse point out, what are the odds? Adding to the intrigue, a key witness in a related federal probe, Lieutenant Quarles Harris Jr. was fatally shot in his car in Washington, D.C. 1 month after this story broke. Harris had been cooperating with investigators regarding passport information and fraud allegedly obtained from a State Department co-conspirator. His murder remains unsolved. To this day, no direct link has been established, but the timing and the topic has raised questions, to put it mildly. Brennan, after being caught in the scandal of breaking into the State Department and messing with Obama's passport files, is duly rewarded, remember? Brennan becomes Obama's CIA chief. To use Obama's exact words, Brennan had Obama's complete trust. The rest is history. I've been on this Brennan track a long time. For a while, it felt like there were just a handful of us who knew the ramifications of this story if fully unfurled. We were, of course, punished for covering such stories over the years. Here at OAN, we're Exhibit 1. We told the truth, we were over the target, and powerful people used every kill switch in the book to discredit us. But we were right, and we knew it from the very beginning. And if you listened, you also knew. Now, the FBI says they're launching an investigation into Brennan. Huzzah! At long last. Unfortunately, it feels very much like a necessary distraction from the PR disaster that is the Epstein story. Since when does the CIA and the DOJ ever get all transparent and announce that they're working on an investigation? I wish I could say the motives were pure. But then again, God has a sense of humor. In that, I have faith. And you should too. Justice comes for all. It must.
I like her. I
like
love
her.
that. She, I believe everything she said. I mean, something about her just makes me trust her. And
She's
the
a
way
decent reporter.
yeah,
She's a decent human being.
she's a real reporter, and she's a real journalist. She's investigating. That's what she's supposed to do. And it's sad that we have very few people like her doing those things. And you see, we have so many juicy stories out there that show the tentacles that are just dug in everywhere. And then we put these new people in office, and they've been in office for 7 months. And then we demand right now, right now, right now. How do we expect right now to happen with this much corruption that's been going on for so long and so dug in? They've had so much time, just like Hillary Clinton, to bleach bit, to use hammers to smash phones, all the things that they've had time to do. And we expect them to have something to do right now and have it taken care of. Well, it's not going to work that way. And I've said it before. I said it's going to take a while to be able to put this together. And all I said is that we need at least one person involved in one of these big scandals put up in front of us and told, this person is the first one we're starting with for the corruption, and this is what we have on them. Because if they have that and we start seeing that, people are going to start believing in something, and that people can't be held accountable. So I really do, in my gut, believe that somebody has to go to prison. Somebody has to be brought before us and tried to show us that we are trying to clean house. Now, honestly, I think there's so many, over half, I'd say 75% of everyone in every state that's involved in government is corrupt. I hate to say that, but that's exactly how I feel. But I do believe there are good people that really went into office to try to do the right thing. And if they people like I'm trying to remember his name right now. I can't remember his name right this second. I went blank. I'm sorry. From Louisiana, and I've played a couple videos of him talking about how stupid some of them are. I can't remember his name for nothing. And I voted for him too. That's terrible, isn't it? The guy in Louisiana, the one senator. Oh, I can't remember his name. He was there. He went there when they did the shooting, or the guy went down the road and ran over people. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. I went blank. But there are good people. I believe Sarah Huckabee's a good person. I believe her father is a good person. I've met both her parents, and I think they're all three good people that just wanted to do the best they could for their state and for their country. And there are people like that. I feel that about Trump. I feel that about Trump's wife. I feel that about quite a few people still. So I still have hope for this country to break free from some of this corruption. And the only way to do that is we got to dig way down below the root and start pulling it out. If you pull it out from the top, what happens? It breaks off and starts growing again. So we have to dig down below the roots and pull them out, the whole root, not breaking them off. And that's the hard part. It's the being patient and waiting to be able to do it the right way. Because as we just saw with the whole Diddy case, 2 charges stuck, the rest didn't. Whether it was because somebody was threatened or whatever, I have no idea. But the thing is, two stuck, and we have to be happy that something stuck, because a lot of people didn't believe that Diddy would get a day in jail. And look how long he's been sitting there. And a lot of people didn't believe a single charge would stick. Well, guess what? Two did. And so that's a start. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. It's a start. It's a beginning, because I didn't even think it would go as far as it did. So if Diddy can come down a few notches, then so can others. And that's how we have to have faith that something can happen and not give up. Because if we just complain and say nothing's ever going to happen and do nothing, then guess what? Nothing's going to happen. So I'm sorry I had to say that. And I feel better now. I got it off my chest. But I really do think that we've got a lot of work ahead of us, and we just have to be patient. And I know that's hard for a lot of people.
Well, that's great for you. I don't have patience, and
I know.
I gotta distract myself with miniatures or something else, because otherwise we're fucking. It'll be the fucking 30 seconds of commando when you start loading up the fucking truck and putting all the ammunition in, getting fucking rifles in, and driving off angrily to fucking DC and just sit on a water tower and, all right, when's this piece of shit gonna be crossing? Oh, there he is.
Okay, well, here's something I thought was interesting, because some things are starting to be said on shows like this one that a lot of people said would never happen. Okay, that will never come out. That no one will ever say that. Blah blah blah, and it's starting to happen. We just have to be able to find the videos and hear it happening, and watch it unfold as it does. So here's one of them.
Do you think there's any intel community involvement in this?
I wouldn't be surprised one bit. I am convinced, based on my own sources and my own reporting on this story, he wasn't one of ours.
He was an American, which leads basically three options: MI6, Saudi, or Mossad.
Yep.
What would you choose?
I guess Mossad, given his connection to Ghislaine Maxwell.
So what does that mean?
Well, I mean, it's possible that that's the reason everything's getting buried, that there is some treasure trove, and it's getting buried because...
How many people here believe that? Raise your hand. Okay, I'd say about half the hands think that it's being buried because of an Israeli thing.
It could be. I really don't know.
I have no evidence to suggest that.
No, me neither. I did think it was very odd how, look, half of you raised your hands because you've heard that theory, you've heard it debated, you have questions, but the one time Pam Bondi was asked a question about this at the cabinet meeting on Monday, she was like, and as for whether he was an agent, that I don't know. I haven't looked into that. I'll get back to you. You haven't looked into it? What do you mean? So that was kind of a fishy answer.
And Megan, remember Alexander Acosta in 2007, he said he was told to treat Epstein carefully because he was an intel asset. That was one of Trump's cabinet secretaries who was literally a U.S. attorney 3 hours from here in Florida. He said that himself.
Well, and let me tell you the consequences of that. His subpoena, his search warrant on Jeffrey Epstein's residence was very narrow. It was not the kind of let's get everything. Let's see everything inside this guy's, dressers and so on. It was very, very narrowly tailored. And to this day, that's what the FBI is stuck with. So it really is possible that Dan and Cash got in there and, in a Geraldo and Al Capone's vault situation, opened it up and we're like, oh my gosh, there's nothing in here. We did not find the magic documents or photos or evidence of anything. And why not? I don't know we'll ever know why not. I'm not sure we'll ever know, but.
What do you think of that?
I think it's bullshit because they say we've got other documents that have said thousands of young victims.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck are we going to sweep that under the rug and focus over here where the obvious evidence is not? Why are we going to do this? This is just like, the puppet is telling you how to behave. And if you don't behave right, this other friendlier puppet comes up. He makes nice for you. And he tells you the exact same thing the other puppet was saying. It's just, why the fuck are we to
I
do this
said,
shit.
that's exactly why I said I think it's for psychology. I really do. It's the only thing that makes any sense about the way it's been handled. You set it out there, you make everybody think, the people that really are involved think that, oh my God, and they're on pins and needles freaking out. What are we going to do? We can't kill him. We haven't been able to kill him. We can't do this. We can't do that. We have no way out. And then all of a sudden, we see this debacle unfold of how these three people are going at each other, not believing when they act like they're like, yeah, he killed himself. We saw the video. And then remember I made that comment. I said, they said they saw a video that they know he killed himself, but how could they see a video? I thought the cameras weren't working.
They didn't have the camera in the right fucking spot.
I know. So what I'm saying is it's just too convenient to me that it just looks like they botched it, and they're not very good acting. They're not acting very well. They made it too obvious.
It is the U.S. government. These guys,
Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, and Bondi, all fumbling and falling over themselves over this one issue. To me, it's too obvious to tell me that they wanted to fumble it because they wanted everyone to believe that they're just going to kick the can down the road because there's nothing there to get everybody pissed off and make them start digging. And it's working. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing tons of people bringing up all kinds of old stuff, all kinds of stuff. And then what did I say? I said, just unseal Ghislaine Maxwell's court stuff. And then we'll have everything we need to research because it was all used against her in court and it's sealed. Get the judge to unseal it.
I don't even want the judge to unseal it. I just want somebody to leak it on the internet. I need
whatever. What I'm saying is,
who's that fucker that gave everything from the top secret files to Wikipedia? Julian Assange.
Yeah, Julian Assange.
I need that guy. I need that guy to find the fucking files, and I need him to just fucking casually release his shit, like it's like a new photo of Chelsea Manning, okay? Like, that nobody really wants to see. Nobody wants to see this shit. Nobody really does. But you know what?
I'm sure
We
somebody
all
does.
know it's there, and we're ready to be right again. That's where I think the frustration for many of us comes from. That we're being told that this doesn't exist. It's never been a thing.
And I don't believe it. I don't believe that it doesn't exist. What I believe is they did it for a reason to get people pissed off so that people would start doing stuff for themselves and get some more stuff, because a lot of the stuff that they thought they had, that maybe Cash saw some stuff a couple years back, well, they destroyed it now. So now they've got to figure out a way to get people pissed off enough to where they start throwing each other under the bus to be the first one to have the paper or the first one to come out with this or whatever.
The
I
stuff
don't know.
I was
I'm not there.
like things I was researching earlier this week was Richard Branson. He's the guy that runs Virgin Space, whatever it is.
Virgin Airline or something.
Yeah, and like he wants to be Elon Musk, but he's just not in that S tier of a billionaire yet. He's not Epstein, but he's fuzzy as shit too. Richard Branson, if you do any research on Branson, you start bumping into the same fucking the same wooden statue of Moloch at Bohemian Grove people that you bump into with Epstein. I never have seen anything that points me to the fact that Epstein was at Bohemian Grove. But everybody who's been to Bohemian Grove has been with Epstein on the island. And if Trump was actually guilty of going to the island and being inside a child or something, they would have capitalized on that in 2015 when Hillary's going after him. She would have sicked the dogs out after him, and we would have heard nothing but fucking horror stories of child porn They would have played the old fucking Different Strokes when Gary Coleman got molested by the old white guy. They would have shown you every fucking thing just to make sure you never pulled the fucking lever for Trumpy, because that would have fucking just like traumatized the shit out of everybody from ages 3 to 81.
Yeah.
And they would have never let you forget that Trump was inside a child. They wouldn't never let you even think that
That
Trump was
stuff would have
good
already
guy.
been plastered everywhere back
And
when they
it would
were
have
first
been,
coming to
everywhere. It would have been on fucking phone poles, stapled like missing dog paperwork. It would have been in their laundromats. So the people that are like, that, you know, washing up after their 17 children with 3 baby daddies.
Now,
They would have seen it.
wait a minute, I have another point of view on that.
Uh-oh.
If Trump was one of them, then they wouldn't have plastered it everywhere. They were cover for him. And there's some people that do
I
believe.
disagree. I disagree, and I'll tell you why I disagree. Because Trump ran on the Republican platform, which means that he's a threat. And whatever he said, even if he was one of them, he wasn't going the same direction as they were. Because you notice Mitt Romney kept all of his happy stories of how good he is. He kept all of his tales of happiness quiet. And the only person talking good about Mitt Romney in 2012 was Glenn Beck. And Glenn Beck was throwing a fit because Mitt Romney wasn't just capitalizing on his Boy Scout status, but because Romney is just a Washington insider now, and he wanted to lose to Barack Obama. He kind of told Glenn Beck subtly, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
And nowadays Glenn Beck has seen the light, and he's like, "I can't believe I voted for Romney." And that was the one election in my adulthood that I've never even gave a fuck about. I didn't like the primary. I didn't like the opportunity I saw with anything. It was bad enough that Fred Thompson didn't even run that hard in 2008. But just if Trump was one of them, then the moment he endangered their existence by going against their narrative,
yeah,
they would have gone through hell and high water to fabricate. Now we have Mid-Journey and all these wonderful AI art programs, and so you're gonna have to be really discerning and watch the fucking fingers, watch the fucking joints on these people, because the AI programs in the future are gonna be really hard to discern what's real, what's fake. I can guarantee you that shit.
Yeah, it's gonna get harder. It's gonna get harder and harder, and pretty soon they won't even need to do shows like this because they'll have fake people doing it. You know what I mean? It won't. You just type it on the keyboard, and it'll be whatever it is that you want people to see. That's what you're gonna end up seeing. But this next thing I want to share, I thought was pretty interesting because I had not heard about it at all until I came across my timeline. So I didn't know if you'd seen it or not. But let's see if I can. I thought this was the video, but it's not. It doesn't look like it's. Yeah, here we go. It's gonna work. All right. It says worship under attack.
It's crazy. It started on Saturday with a worship event in Cal Anderson Park. And that event has, of course, been labeled by the media as some sort of anti-LGBT type rally. And it wasn't. That event offered free haircuts to kids, free bike giveaways, free groceries for the community, free prayer for people who were in need of it. And then it also incorporated a worship element at the end of that outreach. And that was when we were swarmed by hundreds of Antifa militants. And I'll only correct one thing in the reporting of your story. They weren't throwing water balloons. They were throwing water balloons filled with urine at Christians who stood in the park and were assaulted for the high crime of worshiping Jesus in a public space. So that happened on Saturday, and then the mayor followed it up. An hour after that event ended, police officers were hospitalized, good church people were injured. He followed that up with a press statement blaming the church for the violence and saying that we are advocating values that are antithetical to Seattle's values.
Pretty scary, huh?
There's a reason why you don't see good people wanting to go to Seattle anymore. Even if it is the den of evil that needs to be cleansed, nobody here really wants to armor up and go into a situation to where at the end of the day, you're going to be the bad guy, even if you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, but the thing that's scary about this is the fact that it's in America. So if I was to
Well,
go out,
thankfully,
Go ahead.
Antifa here hasn't become Antifa in Europe, where they'll firebomb your apartment, murder your family, do atrocious things. Like, we do have militants here, and they are arming themselves. There's a couple of YouTube channels that have actually been covering it that I follow. But for the most part, Antifa, as organized as they are not a major threat yet, but they are getting worse. There's small pockets that are going after cops, Christians. They're basically going after the right or whoever they deem as fascist. So anybody that disagrees with them, they're going
one of the
after.
things that I think is really good in making a difference in some of this stuff that's been going on. We were talking about it, I think it was this morning in a space with American Bob. I co-host for him sometimes. And we were talking about an article that he played a little bit of the sound bite from it. And it was groups of people that were rioting. Okay. And I can't remember exactly. I think it was in Georgia. And then the USAID funding got cut off because it got brought out. And then they were talking about we were going to start looking to people who are funding these protests or these Antifa things or whatever. And when we find out who it is, we're going to start prosecuting. Okay. Or whatever it was. I think it was someone in Georgia that was doing it. And guess what? The riot stopped. Because if you take the money away, you take the money out of the picture, that's your money anyways. It's your tax dollars that are being rerouted to hire people and make signs and whatever else, and make balloons filled with pee to throw at people, whatever it is. When the money's gone, they don't show up, because I'm doing this and I'm not making any money. I don't make one dime because I pay monthly to have this app where I can use StreamYard to air my stuff. Ruben can air off of my channel, and so can any of you. Any of you could. I pay so that you guys can air on 2 different channels my show, because you're in it and you're on my show and you're helping me do this show. So why wouldn't I want to offer that if I can afford it, right? So I pay every month to use StreamYard so that I can have my guests be able to air it to their show or their own channel out of my own pocket, because it means something to me. Just like I was telling Bruce, this is like therapy for me. This keeps me sane when I get to see all the people in the chat and other people talking about some of the things that are going on, that I'm not by myself, that I'm not the only person that believes these people are nuts, that this is chaos, and that we have got to fight, because this is all we have left. And I only have this one life. And what would I rather do? Just sit at home and watch TV and crochet? Is that the rest of my life? Or do I want to try to help other people help themselves with the whatever amount of life I might have left? So that's how I look at it. So to me, if they took money from me, it wouldn't hurt me, because I'm still going to use whatever little amount of money I have to keep doing this. People aren't forcing me to do something against my will, and people aren't paying me to go out and protest and whatever else to ruin it for other people. So when you have these lefties that aren't getting paid to do it, they're not going to show up. You see, because the only reason they're showing up and causing problems is because they think that they're going to get paid, and they think that if they do get arrested, that whoever paid them is going to come and bail them out, which they probably have before. I don't know. So they don't do it for the same reason I'm doing it. And a person that goes to work the polls or go to get signatures for their neighborhood to try to get something on the ballot or whatever, those people don't get paid either, most of them, because they're volunteers. You know, they volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club. They volunteer at the animal shelter, things like that, because we actually give a shit. See, that's the difference between us and them. And yes, we have jobs, we have responsibilities, so we can't be on the street or be out and ready to go out and riot and do whatever 24/7 because we actually work. You know, we're responsible people. That's the difference between us and them. And at least that's how I see it in my, you know, narrow vision of my life, of where I'm at and what I see. But I do have to do the best I can with what I have. And I still enjoy myself, though. I look forward to doing this show every Friday. And I look forward to playing my game on Saturday. And I look forward to doing our movie review on Sunday. 3 things I really love doing. And all of it, I owe it to Bruce, because Bruce invited me to his channel.
There was no salesmanship here. Stop.
I can't help it. It's the truth.
But
I had so much fun. And when he asked me, would you want to do a show with me every week? And I was like, I love it. I'm so excited. I was so excited when we first started doing A Girl and a Guy in the Movie. And then he showed me over time how to do this, to be able to, you know, start doing my own live streams. And one night, my sister and I were bored and we were depressed because my mother died. And I said, let's go live. You want to go live with me? And she said, sure. And I said, well, I'm going to call it the Friday Night Shit Show, because we were pissed and sad. And that was our first show, the first show I ever did. And I don't regret it at all. And I'm not perfect, and I'm never going to be perfect. Okay. Even though I may try hard, I'm always going to make mistakes because, you know, I'm just a human, you know, that's just the way it is. But guess what? It's not going to make me stop wanting to do it. I'm still going to want to do it because I believe that you and I, all of us that have lives and that care about other people, because we love our family and we love our friends and we're willing to do things to help them, that as long as we have people like us, we won't lose, because we're doing it for one reason and they're doing it for money. You see what I mean? We're doing it because we want to do it and because we care about it. They're doing it for a few dollars. So when the dollars run out, they're not going to do it anymore. They're all just going to go home and say, screw it. They don't care. That's why we're going to win, because we're doing it for a totally different reason. I really do believe that. So hopefully we can just outlast them. That's the thing. We can outlast the money. So if we can turn off the spigot, we're going to have a better chance of being able to do something. I think I have. Here's another one. I think this is I got one more after this one, and that's all that I had pulled up for tonight. I don't even know what time it is. But this one's really good, and I want to play it for everybody. It's our vice president, and he's talking about the radical left. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I really do like him, and I hope that he keeps doing what he's doing and supporting Trump, because I think if he does support Trump, and he's like he is so far that I've seen, him and his wife have done an excellent job at being our VP, that he'll be in a very good position to run for president himself. So we'll see how that goes. But here we go.
Comforted by these contradictions within the modern left. How could privileged whites march around with a straight face decrying white privilege? How could progressives pretend to love conservative Muslims despite those Muslims' views on gender and sexuality? But the answer is obvious if you think about it. And it's a very, very dangerous and very sad answer. The radicals of the far left, they don't need a unifying ideology of what they're for, because they know very well what they're against. What unites Islamists, gender studies majors, socially liberal white urbanites, and big pharma lobbyists, it isn't the ideas of Thomas Jefferson or even of Karl Marx. It's hatred. They hate the people in this room. They hate the President of the United States, and most of all, they hate the people who voted for that President of the United States in the last election in November. This is the animating principle of the American far left. Now, to be clear, it isn't true of most of the people who vote for Democrats. Most of the people who vote for Democrats, they're good people struggling to get by, even if we think that they're misguided in their political judgment. But pay close attention to what the leadership of this movement says outside of the glossy campaign ads and outside of the general election tested messaging themes. And it's obvious what animates the leadership of the modern Democratic Party. The far left doesn't care that BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement, led to a spike in violent crime in urban black neighborhoods, and it did, because the same movement also led to anarchy in middle-class white neighborhoods. They do not care that Islamism hates gays and subjugates women, because for now, it's a useful tool of death against Americans. And they don't care that too many pharma companies are getting rich from experimental hormonal therapies, because in the process, they're destroying the so-called gender binary that has structured social relations between the sexes for the whole of Western civilization. And they certainly don't care that deporting low-wage immigrants will raise the wages of the native-born, because they don't mean to create higher living standards for those who are born and raised here, whether they're black, white, or any other skin color. They mean to replace those people with people who will listen to their increasingly bizarre ethnic and religious appeals. They are arsonists, and they will make common cause with anyone willing to light the match. And that's why Mamdani himself is such an appealing instrument to the left. He captures so many of the movement's apparent contradictions in a single human being.
So what do you guys think of that?
Mostly right. I'm pretty okay with what he said there, but I'm just a little frustrated that other people don't want to see that. They don't want to see the violent left. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that we already had a situation where they've actually tried real communism in the United States, and it was the Chaz the Chop of the early 2020s, and it was successful if you are grading it on a curve for communism, because within just a week, not even a full 5 working day week, they had ran out of food. And it was kind of funny because they kept asking people to keep sending money, keep trying to send trucks in. We'll try to get you some Bitcoin or something, but we could really use another shipment of food, because we've destabilized the area, and we want to have these people that live here. We want to make sure they're our friends, and we want to have food. And so we really did try real communism. And old fucking Winnie the Pooh, he was smiling. I tell you, he was happy to see that we had tried to starve our own people.
Mm-hmm.
It was a classic example of communism.
Mm-hmm. But I thought he gave a good speech.
I think Vance did pretty well there.
I thought it was very, very presidential. He was articulate. I felt like he meant everything he said. And if he keeps doing what he's doing, I've tried to watch as much as I can, the way he interacts with people in the crowds, lots of different things like that, and how he interacts with his wife in public. Because one thing that I have noticed about Trump is he's very attentive to his wife. He'll stop and wait for her to catch up with him. He puts his hand behind her back. Sometimes he holds her hand. I just think he's a gentleman with his wife in public, and that to me is important. It may not be to everyone, but little things like that. If they're running on something like, my family is, who I am, whatever they say, I want to see it. You know what I mean? I want to feel it. I want to feel like I can trust this person. And as long as that's what I'm saying. I'm going to keep watching, paying attention, because I want to make sure this person is ready to step into President Trump's shoes. You know, if I'm going to vote for him, to try to keep the momentum that we have going right now, and hopefully that's what we'll get. And I want to have that. So we'll see. But I have one last thing to bring up, and it's about the whole. It's more of the Epstein stuff, but a totally different point of view on.
Before we get into that, can I address something in the
Yeah,
chat
go
here?
ahead.
We got some people talking about a commentator by the name of Mark Dice, and the metric that I use to judge anybody that's going to talk politics or culture.
Should I bring it up on the screen? Where should I
No,
start?
No, don't worry about that. But I just want to have a conversation between the two of you, because I think, like, I don't know what your metric is for you to tune into something whenever they drop a new notification on your phone, or whenever there's a TV show that might have something of note that you want to watch. But I use the Limbaugh metric, and I don't know if this is going to help you or hurt you, but Limbaugh had the highest rated, the most popular radio show in America
Forever.
for decades.
Mom loved Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah,
Everyone
I was still in high school. I had a friend that watched Rush Limbaugh, and at that time, I was apolitical. I was more concerned about girls and freaking cheeseburgers, and he would go on and on about Rush Limbaugh, and his family was like hardcore conservative. And I love the dude, but he bored the hell out of me. I never listened to Rush Limbaugh. I mean, it wasn't until like a decade later I picked up his show and was like, oh, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. And I had totally changed my perspective on him.
Yeah, I had to grow into it too, because in 92 or 93, somewhere around there, Limbaugh had a TV show. He would do his radio show for 3 hours a day and then do a little bit of show prep and then get in front of the cameras. And his hilarity was fucking great, because even as a non-political kid of high school age, not of voting age yet, he had put on a skit where he was showing how the Democrats had ruined America so bad that this one family, this one young couple, was going dumpster diving behind the Olive Garden to grab more food so they could eat tonight. If you just pull off the first couple layers of this head of lettuce, it should be all right. And I got some stale breadsticks. Maybe get some mud water over there and we could have some dipping sauce. And it was just a funny fucking skit that they had just engineered. And the sets looked like they were kind of like PBS quality, but it was very much so to where it got its point across. And if you can find old clips of Limbaugh on the YouTubes or on old live wire bits, because he showed up everywhere. Wherever there was a video sharing service, somebody that was subscribed to it was a fan of Limbaugh and would happily upload their favorite clips. It was just, that was one of those things that happened. I mean, it's going to be that way with the guys from Pepperbox here in a few years too, because you'll be seeing more stuff from Fat Electrician and Cody and all those guys. It's very good just to see how Limbaugh influenced. But my metric for anybody is this: can they entertain? Can they convey a series of thoughts that may or may not illuminate things to you didn't know before the conversation started? And that was the joy of Limbaugh, because Limbaugh would take young brains full of mush and he would have them, by the end of the week, if you listen to him for 5 days a week, you started forming ideas in your head based on just not the evidence, but just the things that he would rattle off, his anecdotes and then his news reporting. And you would come to these conclusions, which he obviously did want you to become a conservative, but he didn't want to tell you become a conservative. He wanted to show you all the various things that were going on that would help construct a narrative as to why you would go and become and stay a conservative. And therefore, you wouldn't credit him with anything but just unlocking the doors that led you to where you sit now. He was such a genius about this, and he had to show that wherever he was at, if he was in Cape Girardeau, he was successful. He was in Sacramento, California, he was successful. And then finally, he was on the ABC networks out of New York's, and then later went down to Florida. But wherever he was, he fucking brought home millions of dollars in endorsements. And the guy was a fucking machine. But we should all endeavor to be of the quality of individual he was when it comes to helping other people discover truths about the world around them. And Limbaugh constantly was able to give you chapter and verse on what events you need to look at, who were the key players, what was going on at the time in the exterior world, and how it all reflected and was going to be given to you. And if you were able to follow that by the end of your study, you stood up a good head and shoulders above where you were before. And I want to say that, like, the other thing is, if Limbaugh thought you were really good, then you would have, during his vacation week where he would flee New York State and go to Florida and be on vacation, you would be in the chair from your home radio station for 3 full hours. For 3 whole hours, you would have the nation at your beck and call discussing everything going on. And Limbaugh was such a gatekeeper for conservative movement. If he liked you, you had 6 million fans before you even opened your mouth and said, "Thanks for coming." That's how he was.
Yeah.
He was such a gracious man, and I'll never forget his last broadcast in February of 21, where he was talking about how ridiculous it was he was where he was, even though he was dying of throat cancer and lung cancer and all. Everything was just shutting down in his body. You could hear it. But he had been given a gift to where for 3 decades he was a reigning king of AM radio. He started making his way onto FM radio. He started the streaming revolution. He was such a powerful figure, and he was able to grab any politician and make them a superstar. If they were willing to go for the ride, he would make them a superstar. And he would show America the glories and the promises that could await them if they would allow that individual to get that throne. But the problem is that for as many times as Limbaugh did the right thing on these things, he also had a series of fuck ups that he had in his younger years. And if you ever read his autobiographies, he doesn't really go into his marriages that much. That's where the guy messed up a lot. And that's where a lot of us mess up a lot. It's okay. Your dick's going to get you into trouble. Just accept it.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you, you make a mistake, own up to it, and go on. Don't reflect on it. Don't obsess over it. The Limbaugh metric is it's very simple. Can you grab someone's attention? Can you help them along? Can you fire off their imagination to where they start thinking about things bigger than themselves? And that right there is a good way for you to be able to figure out if somebody's worth talking to, listening to, and befriending. Go ahead, Janet.
Oh, I was just going to say that one person that I like to listen to when I'm able on the Patriot Channel is Andrew Wilkow. Have you ever heard of him?
I've heard of Wilkow.
And I really like him. I think he's very talented, and I think he's going to have a long career in doing radio and stuff like that, satellite radio, whatever. But yeah, he reminds me of a lot of things that I wish more people would focus in on when it comes to common sense and things like that with American values, and to bring back family values. You know, so what's so funny is I've talked about this a few times. When I was in shop in high school, I took shop because I wanted to not take some of the other classes, so I had to take one of them. So that was the one I took, and I liked it because I learned how to take apart a push mower and put it back together to get it to start and things like that, which I thought was more useful than some of the other dumb classes they had. But I remember listening to all the guys talking about all the girls they were getting that weekend and stuff like that. And I asked them one time, I said, one day, do you guys ever plan on getting married? They said, yeah. And I said, okay, well, what kind of girl you want to marry? And they said, oh, I want a good girl that I can take home, that wants to cook and, wants to take care of me and raise my kids. And I said, well, where are you going to get this girl from? And they said, well, or a local girl, I guess. And I said, well, there aren't going to be any good girls left if you guys go out and sleep with every young girl that's out there, because you're telling her, oh, take this one out. She does this, I was hearing all their nasty comments about all the girls. And I was like, so, what I didn't understand was, I guess, because I was a dumb virgin girl, hadn't been, dating or any of that stuff yet, really. And I didn't understand, how can anyone expect anything good out of something if there isn't anything left because you've worn out everything there is, you know what I mean? So, and I knew I wasn't going to date any of these guys because if they talked about girls like that, I didn't want to date them. See what I mean? So basically, we have to get the morals back in families. You got to raise your sons to treat women with respect, because one day he's going to want to get married. And where's he going to find a decent girl if there aren't any? See what I mean?
It would be nice.
Tainted all the girls. If every single girl's been dipped in, why would you want her? And why would a girl want a guy that's dipping everything? Just like I've made many comments about that one, a couple of girls on OnlyFans that were trying to sleep with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men.
They're going to get their fucking record. That's all I'm going to say, because there's no salesmanship in pussy. It's just it's pussy.
Yeah, but when it's time to get married, do you guys want a woman that's got you got to strap a board to your ass to be able to sleep with her? You see what I'm saying? Or do you want a decent woman, a woman that's going to take care of you, be there for you, that you can trust when you shut the door or you go to work? Okay. I want a man I can trust. I want a man that I know is going to work, doing his job, and coming home to me. And I'll cook for him or do his laundry, clean his house, and be a good wife to him. But I expect to be treated with respect. But how can anyone treat anyone with respect if they don't even treat themselves with respect or treat others with respect? You see what I mean? Until we get that back in the dating world and the younger generation to respect each other and not just think wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, to every single person they see, we're never going to have that back. We're never going to have family values. We're never going to have people that want to get married and stay together until, they die of old age. I saw somebody congratulating his parents. I think he said it was 38 or 39 years of marriage, that his parents had been married that long, and how happy he was that his parents had lasted that long. And he was asking if anybody else knew anyone that had been married that long or longer. And there was a few people commenting on there. I'll have to go back and look and see how many more. But it's sad to think that will never happen anymore, because nobody wants to take the time to be with someone and treat them with respect, because it's like, when I get in a fight, I'm just going to go out and have a drink and sleep with whoever, because nobody gives a shit. And that's how I feel right now. I look around and that's pretty much what I think most people do. And so, if you're married and your spouse is cheating on you, should you get a divorce? Probably not, because it's not any better out there. Just don't sleep with him, because he might bring you a disease, or she might bring you a disease. So just don't sleep with them anymore, and just stay there and do laundry and whatever else and live your life, because you're probably better off staying with the person you have, even though they cheat. Just don't cheat. Don't be them. Don't become what they did to you. Just don't sleep with them. Just move into the other bedroom or sleep in the basement or on the couch or whatever, and just live. I mean, because there's probably nothing better out there. Honestly, I hate to say that, but until we start making some changes here in our country to push family values and to respect each other as the opposite sex and look at each other that way, I don't see how we're ever going to be able to have families again. You know, where we have a mom and a dad in a house raising children and watching their children get married and have their own children.
I really disagree because I think we've got the capacity to ignore modern society. I think we can do it. Like just earlier today, Benny Johnson was on stage at, what is that, CPAC that's going on right now?
Yeah.
Did you see him bring his family up?
I didn't get to see that part. I've been really busy, but I will go back.
He brings his family up and he fucking showcases like, this is what you men should be chasing. Don't be chasing money. Don't be chasing your real estate. Chase your future. And he brings up all his kids, his beautiful wife. And, you know, I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying. Like, you know, we need to value each other and not turn into just fucking numbers and statistics.
Well, I'm doing it because of all the apps. You know, there's so many apps, and I get tons and tons of messages. You know, all the different apps that I'm on, and I don't say, "Hey, I'm looking for a date" or anything like that. I don't do anything like that.
I've never heard you say that. That's the first time I've heard you say that.
But the thing is that I still get stuff from people, and they say, you know, very derogatory things. I get lots of hate because they don't like my political point of view. But what's sad is that there are decent guys out there. There are a few decent guys, and they've been treated basically the same way as another person might have been treated by the other person. See what I mean? So they're not happy. But the sad thing is, until we start raising our children to have that same respect, what do we think is going to happen with them? How many times are they going to be married? Getting married 25 times? I mean, I just see so many people that have been married, divorced. My own dad's one of them. Okay. And he was married 4 times.
I mean, he did find at the very end, you know, he did find a really good one. You know, I wouldn't say, you know,
died. They'd probably still be married if she hadn't passed away. And then he got married again. He was married for almost 4 years, and he lost her too. She passed away.
I mean, that does happen.
You know, that does happen. But what I mean is, to see someone get divorced today, well, because, you know, like I talk to a lot of people, you know me, I ask lots of questions and I'm very irritating and I get on people's nerves. But, you know, when they're talking about certain things, I'd ask them about it. And I'd say, you know, what happened? You know, why did you get divorced? Well, you know, we just got bored. You know, it's like you're in love with somebody and you got bored and you decided to get a divorce. And they said, yeah. And I said, but why didn't you start doing things together? Start making your life more exciting, you know? And she's like, we just didn't like the same things. So they make it so cut and dried and so simple. It's like, I don't know what made you fall in love with somebody in the first place. I mean, don't you have a relationship for a little bit and learn to see if they like movies or if they like the same things that you like, or do you just hook up and then get married because you good sex? I mean, I don't know.
One of these days, I'll do a Rumble show, and I'll discuss what happened. I'll even bring a wife on, and we'll air the secret of how and why we got together. But I mean, I honestly feel that like there's, you know, well, the romance is very important in today's world. Like, you'd be better off not to sleep in the same room as your fucking phone, because like, you just want to have peace. You don't want to have your notifications keeping you up all night. And you'd be okay by leaving all the family phones in the dining room. So like, you know, whenever somebody's not able to sleep, they're not blinding the other person and waking them up with a giant fucking screen that's just beaming out rays of sunlight.
Yeah.
For something to jack off to, you know, your wife is there glaring at the back of your head. You don't want that. So you're better off not to sleep in the same room as your phone. You're better off to like go do things away from technology. And I've been dropping hints on the wife here, like, hey, I've got all these board games. I want to start playing them. You know, I want to unwrap my Pandemic Legacy games. I just got my expansion game for the Prophecy of Kings for Twilight Imperium 4th Edition. And I never have unwrapped or unboxed the primary box for it that cost you $175 at the game store. And I really want to play these fucking games because, like, they look like they're a lot of fun and they look like they're a blast. And so hopefully one of these days, you know, she'll actually say something like, you know, I don't want to watch mind-numbing Netflix shows that are cathartic and make me forget that my life sucks and I live in a shitty little apartment filled with cockroaches in between the walls. You know, maybe let's play a board game, and I'm kind of hoping for that. But you know, we do have this existence where we're trying to save and scrimp and get into a fucking house, and you know, on the process, you got to take whatever jobs you can get, whatever hours you can get, and it's work and sacrifice. And therefore, whenever you're done with work and sacrifice, you know, you do want your little nugget of chocolate, and her nugget of chocolate is catharsis by watching mind-numbing shitloads of fucking Grey's Anatomy, which makes me want to fucking scream aloud and throw goddamn Samsung products against brick walls and watch it shatter. I talk so floweringly about Grey's Anatomy, you think I'm discussing Bad Girls or something. Anyway.
Joe's Apartment. Oh, God.
I remember that movie.
I haven't seen
it. We'll put it on the list, Janet. You'll
Hardwiki is gonna watch the Rocketeer with us again.
Yeah, we've already discussed that. He's going to actually broadcast it.
You gonna watch too? Six Nations?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, good. Because I've not
watched it a ton of times, but I haven't seen it
uh,
recently in the 2020s.
I watched
So it'll
the trailer.
be interesting to see what happens 34 years later.
So I'm excited about watching it.
It reminds
it's
me.
It's actually based off of a comic book.
Yep.
Which is freaking awesome because it was before the whole Marvel debacle.
Well, that'll be good.
It's going to be cool to see a comic book movie that isn't utter trash.
Garbage. Fucking garbage.
And I was going to jump in and say, you know, call me a hopeless romantic and old fashioned, but you know, I'm still waiting for the trad wife, the big titty goth girl of my dreams. So I'm hoping one day.
Well, one day, hopefully you get whatever it is that you're dreaming of. But the thing is, what I wish more people would do is get to meet people, have conversations with each other, and see if you're compatible. You know what I mean? Seeing so many people hook up, move in together. And I'm like, I asked him, you know, because I had a couple people I got to talk to when I was in Las Vegas. And it's in Vegas, so I guess I could expect this to happen. And I was asking people, you know, how did you meet? And they said, we met on an app. Or they met online or whatever. So I'm seeing it more and more.
I've always met face to face. I don't trust doing the internet thing. Like back in the 90s, I got a stalker on all things ICQ.
Yeah.
If you guys have been on the internet long enough to remember ICQ. Oh, Jesus.
You getting PTSD from this shit
scary
now?
thing for me, my buddy had moved to Galveston, and I had already moved out, and my parents had told me, hey, you got a letter here from somebody in Texas. And I'm thinking, oh, cool, it's my buddy Javier. And I open it up, and it was a gal from the chat, and I'm like, how the hell did she find me? Well, she was listening to our conversations in group chat and pieced together where I used to live. And so I informed my family, like, hey, if you get any more letters like this, return to sender, send it to the cops, do whatever you can to keep this person from sending this crap to your door, because like,
I don't want to
she's
die.
nuts. And
I don't want to die. I don't want to wake up in a bathtub and my kidney is.
ICQ was a chat program like ICQ.
Like
So it was
AIM
spelled
or AOL.
ICQ.
Yeah.
And it
I
was a
never
play on
heard
the
of
words ICQ.
I see
And it was
you.
one of the early. Yeah.
It was a ripoff of
It was
AIM.
one of the early chat programs.
You
Like it
actually
was
could
really
do-
cool. You could change the color of the text.
You could do
Or
voice chat.
if you really sly, you could manipulate the number keyboard and do little character changes. I had
ASCII.
forgotten how to do that.
Yeah, you could do ASCII art with your
Yeah.
fucking number.
It was awesome. Back when Google was still like in its infancy.
Serious infancy,
And Ask
like
Jeeves was kick ass.
1998.
Yeah. God, I'm old. Anyway.
Well, I never heard of it. I never heard of ICQ.
ICQ is used by us because it was kind of like before TeamSpeak, we had ICQ,
Yeah.
and TeamSpeak was the better version of it. Was more stable. Was very good with broadband, where we could play Team Fortress or Quake in a good chat room and actually do stuff. Then GameSpy eventually adopted TeamSpeak like stuff, I think, and so we were able to compete, and you could hear the guy you're killing, which was awesome because you're competing against. Well, no. It was good because like you're in a competition of a death match or capture the flag arena, whatever it was. And that was just the golden age of computer gaming, I think, because nothing will ever beat the crappy 3D effects glide drivers and the old Voodoo 2 and Voodoo 3 boards that came out before TNT and NVIDIA ruined everything. And now we have AI.
56K dial-up goodness. I'm like, hell yes.
Yes. Yeah, let me hear that fucking Pledge to Cthulhu, the fucking phone screaming through the modem. God, I miss that shit. But today we do have some really nice things because we waded through the lava in those days just to get a little scrap of gaming crumb cookie. It was good.
I'd never heard of such a thing, but I'll have to Google it and look it up.
You're gonna find it. You're gonna find it.
I had what was the name of it? Not Facebook. What was the other? MySpace.
Did you have GeoCities?
MySpace, yeah.
I had MySpace for a little bit, and I had a little video that would come up, a little music song. I remember doing that, and I liked it way better than I liked Facebook because I had two sisters that were on Facebook, and they kept saying, "You need to get on Facebook." So I did end up getting on Facebook for a little bit until the whole thing with Trump. Because once I started rooting for Trump on there, I got a lot of hate. So.
Well, the bots of Twitter are really nasty, and I keep getting the same 5 or 6 AI girlfriends to email me, and they're
How can you tell? How can you tell if they're a robot? Because I want to know. So when I get,
have you ever looked at me? There's no reason why I, as a married man, would be having these things.
No, I mean, if you get a message, because I get messages from people, and sometimes I think they're bots, but most of them the bots are like the coin people.
They're really not. They're not the real people. There's a row of 100 fucking tablets in some shithole third world country, and you've got one dude that he's got a blow up Japanese anime doll at his desk that he never gets to use because he's too busy trying to whittle money out of these losers on these tablets. And that's what it is. It's just scamming. It never changes. That's all this is. And they're trying to run scams, but the bots that throw the money out there, that throw the initial hook out there to get your attention and talk to them, those are disgusting. It not disgusting as I want to vomit, but I'm kind of frustrated that I can't go on on Twitter and there's 17 fucking hot chicks that should be in porn, but but instead they're texting me trying to get to know me. And if you'd like to, if you would, please share with me how many women you've been with and tell me how long those relationships last.
Really? They say stuff like that to you?
The same miserable script. There's like 12 scripts out there, or maybe 8 scripts that they all follow because it's the same fucking bot program. And then you have one guy that comes in, he'll throw in like a Peter question or something, and then it goes back to the bot algorithm question. It's garbage. They're just fucking garbage. And whoever it is that's allowing this shit to go on, like I want to buy ordnance just so I can bomb that building. That motherfucker that's stealing fucking old people's fucking social security and trying to get young guys that are hard and lonely. You know, I'm lonely, and they're, you know, I just want to see that shit reduced to rubble. Fuck you. And if it's in the Gaza Strip, I got a 2-for-1. Awesome.
The Gaza Strip. You're so funny.
I fucking hate the Gaza Strip. And I fucking love it whenever we get some Twitch tard in our chat over at James's at the front porch. And you know, they start being upset about Israel this, Israel that. I'm like, you know, I'm not a big fan of Israel either, but at least they're not Palestinian pieces of shit, because the Palestinians are the same garbage that the Philistines were. Fuck them. I'm so happy the Philistines are history. I wish the Palestinians would follow.
Harlan Ellison had it pretty good about the Middle East.
Yeah.
You know?
Be a nicer crater.
Israel and the sand peoples out there, you just wall them up and then let them do their thing. And then, you know, 30 years later, you go check the little door. And if they haven't killed each other off and they're peaceable, let them out. Let them hang. But if they can't behave themselves, you know, close the door, come back another 30 years.
I agree with
they
that.
Kill each other off.
I fucking despise that fucking region because that's all it is. It's just like, yeah, it's a great birthplace for religion, but you guys can't stop fighting over to see whose religion's right first. That's the stupid, most unironic.
Well, it's really, it is sad because the few stories that I've heard about, because I asked them why, you know, a few people from, you know, a couple of different countries, why they fight over such a small area, you know, and they admit that it's because one race is one that's going to end up inheriting the world, basically, and they all stem back to Abraham.
You know, it'd be fine if like it was actually like the true race, like, hey, these are the descendants of Judea. This is the tribe of Judea. But they're not. They're just fucking wearing the skin suit of somebody, and then like they wander back to shithole with thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of taxpayer money given away ever so freely by some fucking dupes in fucking DC. And I'm just fucking tired of it, you know? Like, why can't we just bomb Zelensky? Like, you know, I don't like Putin that much, but I just don't like Zelensky at all because he's been a repeat beggar over and over and over. And every time
the thing is, as you've noticed, slowly the money's going to dry up.
Well, no. Earlier this week, Trump told us that I'm going to give my money to Ukraine because they're about dead and they need
That's
money.
not what I heard him say. What I heard him say was, we're selling weapons to NATO, and that NATO is the one that's giving them the weapons. So
by proxy, they'll fund them.
Yeah, but they're paying for it. We're not just giving it to them. See, that right there is just, that's one difference. And I rather them pay their way than us pay for everything. Why? Everybody keeps saying, why does America think they can just go in and take over a country and absorb them and then make them live a certain way? And I'm like, I don't know that we do that. We don't have any more states. You know what I mean? And but the thing is, we pay
regime change or assassinations. There's a big difference.
The thing is, though, we pay for so much shit that has nothing to do with us. And once we stop paying all these other countries any money,
I would love to see the rest of the world turn into fucking mud huts everywhere when the fucking money dries up.
Then, you know, I think it'd be different. You know what I mean?
I mean, it was good enough already that earlier this week, some multi-million-dollar project, which was supposed to be like Wakanda. The city became abandoned, and like they got one building out of it. One ugly fucking turd of a building came
Yeah.
out of that, and I fucking laughed. Like I'm not even apologetic about how fucking hateful I feel towards Africa for not getting their shit straight after 7,000 years. Like that is such a shithole continent. I never want to see them ever take $1 again. And I don't like NATO either, Hardwick. I just they're completely fucking ineffective. They're feckless. They're just garbage. They're just garbage human beings. They're fucking hands out. Fuck these people.
Yeah, I don't want to give them any more money at all. But I wanted to tell everybody thank you so much for joining us tonight. We've been going
Hold on,
over 2 hours.
I got some other good news.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah,
go.
and I put a link in the private chat.
Yeah, I looked at it.
Trump says NATO countries will buy weapons to give the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's on the New York Times.
Yeah, but that's just an article that I haven't heard Trump say that.
I heard it about 2 days ago. Trump said they were going to be reinflating the defenses of the Ukraine because they're about dead. And I really am sad because as much as I know that there will be innocents that die if like Ukraine gets bombed again, we're also going to get rid of the fucking.
Wait a minute. Is the are we going to be getting like the minerals that we said we wanted?
I don't know. I don't know if that's off the table, but I know that's what Trump wants.
Yeah. So if we're getting something for our money, I'm going to be happy. But if we're just going to hand over pallets of cash in the middle of the night, like Obama and other presidents have done, then no, I'm not going to be happy with that shit.
That ship has sailed. There's no more pallets of cash in the middle of the night because you've got Trump, which thank God for Trump. But
I know, but if Trump is giving them money and we're getting nothing in return, that's the same as
we're selling weapons to NATO. NATO will then turn around and give Ukraine shit for free because everybody, for some odd reason,
as long as we're getting money for giving something, then to me, I don't feel like we're being ripped off. But if President Trump comes out and says we're going to start giving them this, that, and the other, I'm going to be pissed off. That's going to really piss me off.
If Zelensky wasn't fucking Soros's ugly goddamn kid, I don't think it'd all be going on like this. I really don't. But
I just think it's ridiculous. The whole
if you've
thing.
ever there's photos out there of Zelensky and Soros, side by side.
Did you see that video? Did you see the video of supposedly Ukrainian soldiers? They're still going in the streets and picking up men and teenage boys and putting them in a van and driving off with them to make them join the military.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Well, I saw a video and it was a wife and a husband, and they pulled up and were fighting with the guy to get him in there to take him to the front lines. And he already lost a leg doing it. He had one leg.
Yeah, like Trump said in that video where he says we're going to reinflate Ukrainian defenses because they got nothing left. And when I say they got nothing left, like you're giving me the example that I don't even need to illustrate. Like you just said it. Like
I know, but that's what kind of discussing. Instead of them sitting down and saying, "Okay, we need to figure out how to stop this war and have some talks or whatever," they rather just drag people out of the street and out of bed or out of hospitals or whatever, just to take bodies and lay them up there to be killed.
I mean,
Let's see Zelensky put on a uniform and go stand out there in front of the rest of them.
Do you remember Sarajevo and the Bosnia conflict of the mid-90s?
I remember hearing about it and stuff,
Okay.
yeah, but I didn't know what it was for or why we were doing it.
One of the things was basically like you need to do some research and look up this group of assholes called the Azov Battalion.
Okay.
They're kind of like an
Azov Battalion.
force of Eastern European fighters, but there's very few of them, thank God. But they're the ones training and making the Ukrainians deadly. But if there's ever like a unit of the Azovs out and about, they're really good at fucking harassing and bringing down their opposition. There might be 50 of them left or 500 of them left. There's not very many of them left at all. but they are a very good elite force. They're worthy of consideration and planning an ambush to wipe them out, because otherwise they'll be fucking too deadly and too entrenched, and they'll have too many firewalls set up to get at them properly. But because of the Azovs, the Ukrainian guys are now using wire-guided drones, because wire-guided drones don't get jammed. And the Soviets figured out how to jam the wireless drones. They figured it out. They've got the technology, and they've got the ability to power it, which is kind of funky sometimes. But that entire shithole conflict is really just kind of nasty. One of the things at Sarajevo and 1995, all that conflict that happened, was there were still people in the area that really felt Hitler was doing a good thing. And there was other people in the same area, the same real estate, that were violently against everything Hitler stood for. Yeah. The media used to cover the Azov battalions.
Funny how that situation happened.
Yeah, and once the Ukraine war started and they started fighting against Putin, the media covers for them all the time. They never fucking give them any lip service unless, like, the Azov battalion is like taking care of babies today. They were babysitting children and puppies, and that's the only time you hear the Azov battalions out of the mainstream media.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just like more Russian soldiers were gleefully slaughtered today by faithful Ukrainians. You know, and the Azov battalion guys who are Eastern European. They're not all from the same shithole. They're all from different shitholes, but they do what they do.
Yeah, here you go. This is some really good information right here. History is written by the winners.
Yeah,
remember that. That's 100%.
It's always weird how the history books are written like that.
Well, and then when they win, even though they didn't win, they go and they take all the books and burn them and tear down the statues and do all that stuff while they're in charge, as we've seen.
Or you get the history book printed by some Rothschild lackey, and then you got to pay $300 to get some propaganda.
What I can't wait to see, I won't see it because I'll be dead, but you know, in 500 years, when they dig up graves, you know, and say, oh, I wonder who this person was, and it has their name or whatever, and they look that up and find out, and they say, well, they have breast implants and stuff, but it's a man, because they can tell by the bones that it wasn't a woman. And to say they find multiple of them, you know, millions of them, they're going to find all these fake people buried with fake body parts and stuff, pretending to be something they weren't. I can't wait to the history of that. I mean, I won't see it because I won't be around, but, you know, I feel
it's fun to imagine. I do have
creepy about what were these people doing at this time of their lives. You know, it's going to be one for the history books. So we will trying to figure out what happened and why all these men had breast implants and stuff.
So if you bought a Ford F-150 or Mustang or Bronco Expedition of 2022, if you bought a Mustang or F-150 Explorer, F-250 SD, F-350 SD, F-450 SD, or F-550 SD from 2021 or 2023, from that 3-year span, they're recalling 850,000 more vehicles from Ford and Lincoln dealerships, because those vehicles' low pressure fuel pump may fail while in use, causing the engine to stall. That's a notice with the National Highway Safety Administration. And so the affected vehicles may lose fuel pressure and
better
from
than
fuel
stuff exploding.
Yeah, better than sudden acceleration, I will say that. But this causes lack of fuel delivery to the engine, and so you just come to a stop. And so the July 8th recall notice stated all this. Just under 1 million cars are being recalled by Ford and Lincoln. And therefore, if you own a Ford vehicle, like I stated, or a Lincoln Navigator or Aviator from 2021 to 2023, they're recalling all of these because 10% of the vehicles it's recalling in the U.S. could be affected by the fuel pumps, and that is,
Are they American-made fuel pumps?
Janet, I am searching this
I
video.
don't think anything's American made. It's
I'm
American
just
assembled.
It's American assembled, but it was assembled in Dearborn, and it impacted more than 5 million vehicles, according to the agency recall records. So this is more safety recalls within 6 months than any automakers issued in a year, according to the WSJ. And there was almost 300,000 diesel engine trucks with high pressure fuel pumps that had a fuel pump related recall earlier this year. And that's everything I know from that AP report. But I figured that's kind of important because there are a lot of people I know that they do like their Ford vehicles, and they don't listen. They don't buy foreign-made vehicles because clutch is hard to operate, manual shift hard to operate. Then no, I just want to throw it in D and R and just move around and do stuff without having to think too hard. So that's the typical American piece of shit. You just should have public transportation if that's what you're driving. Anyway,
I sent you a picture to your phone.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Since you started talking about vehicles and stuff, let's see what you think about it. I got flags on it and everything. So, and I drive around with that. So, would that be embarrassing to you?
No, not really. Is that your little truck?
Yeah, that's my truck. See the picture on the window and the back seat?
Yeah. You really need. I'm gonna share this. We're very much like Stig Kenobi over here.
It's my that's my truck, and it has Trump on it, and I have flags on both sides.
So what you need to do is you need to pull the sticker off the window and cut along and cut it like a curving upward, and then you can fit it on that window just fine. So it actually looks like Trump is in the back seat.
It doesn't matter. I just want people to know I like Trump, and I do. I do
you
like.
definitely live in Arkansas, because if that was in San Antonio, like your fucking windows would be broke out. They would.
Yeah, I used to have a bumper sticker on my car that my mom gave me a stack of them, and I loved them. I thought they were great. And I remember I'd go to work and stuff and drive around, in certain areas, and it said, "I'm proud I didn't vote for the dope from Hope." And every time
outside of Boise or Moscow, maybe Coeur d'Alene, you'd fit in up here.
Well, the thing is, I'd come out of the store and it would be peeled off, laying on the ground, tore up. And so I just pull out another one because I had like a stack of I don't know how many. It was hundreds, I guess, my mom had bought, because she donated money for a raffle, and they gave her just huge stack of these bumper stickers. So we had them on all the cars, and so I'm just peeling another one off and stick it on there. But a lot of people didn't like it. They thought that was rude.
The last time I had a bumper sticker, it had a picture of, in the style of Hope with Barack Obama, the red or yellow and orange picture. It was, instead of Barry Soetoro, I had a picture of James Mattis and Hope underneath that, because we actually did try to get him elected into the primary and go for it. And he gave a very nice, very presidential declaration of no intent to run for elected office. He was never cut out for that. As much as we might have thought he would have been fine and being a good leader and administrator, later on we found out how much of a failure he really was when ISIS was fucking his pet project. But that was later, during the Trump 1 years, and it was rather sad. But that was the last bumper sticker that Bruce ever had, was James Mattis Hope 2016 for making him prez. And it would have been interesting, because then we would have had a bunch of crayon eaters just constantly happy all the time. Janet,
You should
I've exhausted the
see
things
the
I want.
sticker on the. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I got one more thing, but go ahead. Wrap off.
Okay, I was just
Within-
going to say that you should see the sticker on the rear window of my my uncle's pop's truck. It says Hillary Clinton exporting blowjobs since 1993, and it's like taking up the entire space of the back window on his Chevy. It's freaking hilarious. He's been driving around with that for like 20 years. It's almost become a landmark.
Okay, I'm getting this open here
Okay, so
for you. So hold on.
Baylor University. I'll share.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see that. I'm going to
Yes.
share my screen with you. That way I can just read through this. Baylor University revokes acceptance of $643,000 grant from a pro-LGBT nonprofit. University referenced its longstanding Christian teachings on sexuality as a guiding factor in the decision. Baylor University is a nice little Texas place in Waco. In the statement from July 9th, Baylor University announced its decision to rescind the acceptance of a grant for almost $700,000 from a pro-LGBT nonprofit. President Linda A. Livingston of Baylor University explained that while the research itself did not raise concerns, Baylor became concerned about the advocacy linked to the grant. And so they review it, and the process surrounding the grant concerns did not center on the research itself, but rather the activities that followed as part of the grant. Specifically, the work extended into advocacy for perspectives on human sexuality that are inconsistent with Baylor's institutional policies. And these are like experiments kind of like what Kinsey did. If you know the Kinsey experiments and the declarations of information he made. Eula May and John Bow Foundation, which provides research grant, expressed disappointment over the cancellation, specifically regarding the LGBT research it was intended to support. The Eula May and John Bow Foundation is a nonprofit that, according to the website, supports progressive, inclusive nonprofit organizations that reflect the love of Christ by providing assistance to those in need, which sounds really nice until you go to the website and start finding all the propaganda. So
Yeah.
they find themselves, they declare they are progressive Baptist and focus on social justice and advocacy. And Baylor had originally accepted the grant on the 30th of June, expressing their appreciation to the nonprofit for continued work at the intersection of faith and justice. This grant equips us to listen deeply, study carefully, and partner faithfully with churches seeking to become more just and welcoming communities. And that was what was Dean of the Garland School of Social Work. But further review of the grant's terms, Ms. Livingstone expressed concern that the activities associated with the grant conflicted with Baylor University's statement on human sexuality. Quite a narrow pathway that one leads to. And the statement upholds fidelity within marriage between a man and woman as a biblical standard and considers both extramarital and same-sex relationships to be inconsistent with that view. Universities also reference the long-standing Christian teachings on sexuality as a guiding factor in this decision. She closed the university's statement by again clarifying the Christian belief on human sexuality. And that basically is fidelity in marriage between man and woman. In a not related story, Ken Paxton's getting divorced. His wife declared it earlier today on X, citing biblical marriage has failed.
Yeah, I think I saw that that when they were talking about it.
That's everything I have to say for tonight, and I appreciate you having me on here, Janet. Josh, it is so fucking good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's so good to hear
I am
your
glad to be
voice
back.
again.
We
Yeah.
missed you, dude.
We missed you a lot.
I was scared. Little Jeremy was like hearing my thoughts because I was trying to type down everything that was going through my head. Like, okay, here's how I know how to do skip tracing. If I remember right, we can try to figure out exactly where he's at. And I was doing my diligence trying to figure out where the hell you were at, but you hadn't even been admitted to the hospital at that point. And then the day you got admitted in and started talking to Janet, that was when like the biggest relief of 2025 happened for me. And I know you're going to be busy tomorrow, so I'm not going to even ask you if you want to game with us, but you'll have an open slot if you want it, man.
I'm down with that. I don't think I'm going to be hanging with the fam tomorrow because I've spent the last 2 days like exercising like crazy, being drug around various department stores. They're like, hey, we're going to go to so-and-so. I think you're up for a walk. Like, we went to Costco the day before, and then today I went to Target and Homeworks or whatever that place
Yeah.
is that they wanted to visit. Anyways, I walked like 3 miles today, and that's the most that I've done. You know, the doctors are like, oh, you know, just walk out to the mailbox, or, you know, if you can make it, walk along your neighborhood, maybe one
Josh
day
is being
you'll
drugged off on a hunting trip
go
10
around
miles.
Well,
yeah,
I'm just
they're
glad
all
that
like,
you're.
maybe one day you'll get around the block or something like that, and I'm like, I'm not an invalid, damn it. I can move, but they want me to do baby steps and whatnot. So,
Well, yeah,
you know, what does
you
my family do?
can't
They drag
overdo
me
it.
all over Hell's Green Acre. So
Yeah,
I'm
so
down for
just
gaming. I
pretty.
want to find out what the hell Lemmy has done.
Right
I'm so out of
now,
the loop right now.
you guys got ambushed by a bunch of fucking animals in a cave, and one of them just bull rushed you off the fucking cliff, and that was where the game ended. And Crafting Gamer is going fucking nuts. So,
Well, I wasn't there, was I? The last game?
no, you weren't.
Yeah, I was gone too. I was on the trip, so both of
Because
us
all
get
I
to
recall is
find
that
out
one
whether we're
door
alive.
that I didn't want to open,
Yeah.
and then that was it.
Yeah, and
That
then you
was,
fucking
what,
left
2
us,
months ago?
you bastard.
But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. I'm
Do
gonna
me
be
a
working
favor.
on bags. Mm-hmm.
Illustrate Hardwick's fucking statement there, because that is
Which
so
one?
good. The last statement Hardwick stated there.
This one?
Kinsey was a fraud and a pederast. He even collaborated by mail with a Nazi pedophile.
Oh.
Thank you, Janet. Hardwick Bentho, people, a very good learned scholar of a man.
Mm-hmm.
And Hardwick, I don't believe at the end of The Hidden, the young girl fully trusted her dad because she knew something was up. You kind of see
Maybe
that
there
look
will
in
be
her
a
face.
sequel. Who knows?
There is a sequel. We
Well,
haven't watched
not
it yet.
not the,
Well,
the second one. I mean,
I
like a
think she
third one, because the
knew.
second one kind of sucks.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. That's my detracting factor for why I haven't watched it yet. I've got the ability to watch it, but
I do think she knew that he wasn't the alien was inside there, but she also believed her daddy was in there.
yeah,
That's what I think.
Such a good movie, and I'm so happy that Janet finally saw that film.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been with us last couple movies that I've showcased, Josh, or no? You missed the hidden. You missed the hidden, and did you
I
see?
missed the hidden, but I remember watching the show of you guys doing the hidden, and I was thinking, shit, that's right, because you guys were watching it around what 11:30 your time,
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
something like that. Yeah, I was thinking it was 11:30 my time, and then by the time I got around to the computer, it was like way past that, and you guys weren't watching it, and I was like, oh shit, okay. So I waited for you guys to hop on YouTube, and then I watched the show.
We will no longer be streaming.
I've seen
on
the hidden
YouTube.
enough to know what was going on.
Yeah, we're gonna watch
great.
the movies in my Discord.
Yep.
Oh,
It
cool.
worked out pretty good, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it turned out great.
I thought it
Hardwick's
was
going to be
great.
broadcasting initially. If his method fails, then we'll go with my way. But I want him to try streaming first, 'cause he's got a really good setup from what
See, I told you, he's real good with computers.
Yeah, well, I mean, let him go for it first, and then if not, I'd be more than happy to.
That would be awesome because it's so much more convenient. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To just sit in there and watch it, and then we can leave that and go do
Don't
that.
ask me, because I've got CenturyLink, and I wouldn't wish that on
anybody.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's
I have it's called Sometimes Cable.
It's better than Sparklight, but
It's,
Sparklight.
because I have it sometimes. Just kidding. But
And
thanks,
I
everybody.
refuse to move to Boise to get frickin' Comcast high-speed internet. Like, it's not worth it. I'd rather have Putin nuke the place.
But thank
And the
you
traffic
guys.
was horrible,
joining
but they
me
got good
tonight.
restaurants.
I really, really appreciate it, Six Nations and Bruce.
Oh, I'm glad, and happy birthday. You look awesome for
thank you.
27.
Wow, thanks. It makes me feel great. But yeah, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. But it's okay.
Sure, you want any more kids?
Do what?
Sure, you don't want any more kids?
No, I do not.
Janet was discussing earlier this week with me the progress of her of the pregnancies that she had.
Yeah,
and it did not sound joyful. Like I've heard both types of pregnancies. One is where the woman is beaming. She's got what appears to be a large barrel under her massive hoo-ha, massive mammaries, and she's got probably 40 pounds of extra baby weight, and she just lugs around it like Oprah Winfrey in the early days of her show. And she's just a smiling, beaming delight to be around. And meanwhile, Janet's got like 20 pounds extra, and she's like slugging through the day, just miserable.
But see, I didn't gain my 20 pounds until like in my 7th month because I was sick all the way up until then. I lost weight. So I wasn't one of those people. I was sick. Had morning sickness. It was horrible. So
when Janet mentioned that she didn't want any more children, I just imagined a disturbance in the internet.
I know, right?
10,000 single men.
Thousands of
crying
Indian
out
men.
in pain.
Yeah, the men from India. That's I'm
Thousands of shitty-haired men from India screaming from their Mercedes Benzes. Oh no, Janet! Don't do that, baby. I love you.
I had that a lot for a while. But you know what? It's really toned down now from the
No more Bobs and Virgin.
No. So I'm happy about that.
See, you're lucky you get like that type of interaction. All I get on X are those women that take the selfies backwards, and I know it's bots.
Yeah.
And I kind of miss the interaction between the fishers instead of the bots, because the bots just sit there and don't do anything.
No, they don't do shit.
We used to get rated every week. You remember, Bruce?
Oh yeah.
We get a whole bunch of bots that would come in with all the pretty colors and stuff, pink and green and orange and stuff.
Yep.
So I haven't seen them in a long time.
All the wonderful excitement in the chats.
Yeah, it was interesting, but I didn't know anything about any of it. He was showing me lots of stuff, but I haven't seen it in a long time. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and it was fun. But I'm getting really stuffed up, and I need to take my medicine and get me something to eat because I'm starving.
I have one final thing to show you.
Okay, here we go.
All right, guys, it's time to play the game. Whose fault is it?
Okay, he's racing, so it's his own fault. Is this a game? Was it a game?
This is not a game. This is in Germany. This is the Nordschleife, part of Nürburgring, one of the greatest racetracks of all time, also called the Green Hell. And they allow you to go on the track with your beater car during the week when there's not a race.
Yeah.
Just so you can have the experience. I took my car in the Nordschleife.
Yeah.
So that is what happened.
But they got to go on with someone else? I didn't think you were allowed to.
They get to go with somebody else. This is crazy. And I've been Remember, Paul Walker died in a Porsche. It caught
Yeah,
fire.
what is that?
I
Is that
believe
the-
that was. I believe it was a Porsche.
No, what was that in the road? The
Part
van?
of the car. Looked like a flywheel. That looks like a flywheel to me. I could be wrong. Or no, that's a brake drum. Is that a brake drum, Josh?
That is a brake drum.
Okay.
It looks like it.
Is that a horn that's going off?
Was this
Yeah.
guy's at fault, by the way? Fuck him.
I didn't pay enough attention to see whose fault it was.
Guy was about to pass him, and then he smacked into him, and
The
then
guy in front of him.
there he goes to pass him.
So he's trying to stop him from passing it.
There, and then clips him. And they go
Yeah.
out of control.
See?
And apparently they explode. Which, if I had my 87 Nissan Sentra, would not happen. It wouldn't even going that fast.
That's terrible. They were going really quickly, though. They were going fast. So that's the risk you take, though, when you're going to race somebody. You could wreck.
I don't even think they were racing because one guy might have just got on the track like 2, 3, 4 minutes, 20 minutes after somebody else, and now he's treating it real, like he's actually racing, and he's gunning the fuck out of it. He's trying to get around the obstacle, the guy that doesn't give a shit about being in last place.
Yeah. Apparently he did, because he hit the other guy to try to stop him from to get him to do like a pit maneuver or something, and it made them both wreck.
Wow.
At least that's what it looked like.
That was terrible.
Yeah. But thank you guys again, and thank you for everyone for hanging out with us tonight. It was a lot of fun, and we got some good information out, so I feel good about that. But you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Right on.
Game day.
Yep.
Woot,
See
woot.
you later. Bye, everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Be well, everybody.
If you wear nice clothes, people think you're showing off. If you wear simple clothes, people think you're poor. If you speak your mind, you're rude. If you stay quiet, then you're a coward. If you're successful, then you're arrogant. And if you're struggling, then you're lazy. You see, no matter what you do in life, people will always have something to say. So ignore people and their opinions. Because so long as your God is pleased with you, who cares what people think?